Welcome to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz on AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. All things diesel for over 26 years. Now, here are your hosts, Peter and CJ.
Hey, everybody. Welcome in to the Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. I am CJ. Peter's going to join us in just a moment. We've got some sports stuff popping off here. Not just coronavirus related, but we got NFL ratifying a new CBA, NFL free agency about to get started. Ryan Tannehill signing his new contract. What that might all mean for the upcoming crop of free agent quarterbacks, your Teddy Bridgewaters, your Phillip Rivers, your Tom Brady's of the world. You also have the NBA saying a best case scenario, season picks back up in June. You've got all of that and more going on in the sports world. We would love to hear from you. You can text us 67129 on the First Bank text lines. If you are new to the text line and have never texted before, text 56JOIN. That's 56 join to 67129, and you can join us on the text line that way. You can also give us a call on the First Bank phone lines. 360-8255 is the phone number on the First Bank phone lines, and Peter joins us right now from those phone lines. Peter, my man, what's going on?
Man, you just like it's just a normal day at the office, huh?
I'm just try to find some semblance of normalcy, man. It was a wild weekend, and it's going to get wilder, man.
Listen, I can't. I applaud your normality on this. Bravo, because this is we're in like unprecedented times here. I cannot ever remember anything like this. None of us can. I mean, no one of any age can. This is stuff that like no one has thought about, prepared for. Who could have imagined even? I mean, like the crazy thing is, who could have imagined a week ago we'd be in this situation? Never mind, like months ago. Like who could have imagined a week? This wasn't even on the table, and now we have essentially shut down the entire sports world. We have essentially shut down, or we are going to be shutting down, I would imagine soon enough, a lot of outside activities, period. Like, the new recommendations from the Centers for Disease Control issued last night limit groupings. They restrict groupings of more than 50, which is, like any place basically of any sort that's, a grouping of any kind. So, we're just in strange times. So we're all, me, you, the deacon, we're all trying to get this, work through this together as best we can. Cause all of us listening, everyone's going to, some of you are going to work, some of you are not. Your kids are, home from school. Now spring break was this week anyway for a lot of, districts, but you got to make these decisions now about what you're going to do. Just a lot of stuff we're all facing, so we're all going to face it together, and hopefully, by coming together and helping you for the next 3 hours, and maybe we'll be real silly, and maybe we'll be serious for a little bit, and maybe we'll be silly for a little bit. I really don't know, but hopefully it'll all help to do something to bring us all together in a time of unprecedented stress and worry.
Peter brought up the deacon. He's over there making sure this thing stays afloat. After the birthday, he's got his regular music back, Peter. No more shuffle.
I get it.
I mean, it's cool. Stay with the tried and true. We should do a poll, though, to see which song Zach should be coming into. Which one is the best?
Hey.
He is Similac Zach, America's soy toy. He's over there. What's going on, Zach? How was the birthday, homie?
Birthday was pretty good. I mean, when they were bringing up social distancing, I've been pretty much social distancing myself for my entire life.
Right.
So you know,
You're ahead of the curve.
yeah, I was already there. So
Yeah.
but you know, it was cool. I had some family come over, enjoy some cake and ice cream. Just regular family time, I guess, spent on my birthday.
So if most of you have listened to the show, if you're new to the show, Zach does not partake in sugar or caffeine like that. Peter, we were talking before the show got started about Zach's birthday, and Zach said he was feeling a little tipsy off that cake and ice cream, boy. He couldn't feel his face. Had him buzzed.
No, you gotta understand. Like I don't like I eat cake, but I don't eat it in abundance. And so when I do eat when I eat a piece of cake, I always get a little buzz going because it's always it's just a little sugar rush off of it because it's I don't know if it's the icing or the cake itself. I don't eat cake regularly,
And this is just a regular cake.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Well, I mean, now
Not laced
let
with
me
nothing.
ask you a question. Do you think people eat cake? Like, what do you mean regularly? Like, is there somebody who's eating cake like on a weekly basis, on a daily basis? Who's eating cake on a regular basis?
I mean, I can see somebody eat a cake on a weekly basis, but I don't eat.
I would love to eat a cake on a weekly basis. That'd be great.
Everybody would.
Is that an option? Can I do that?
I think so. We're grown ups now. I think we can do
okay.
like
Okay.
look.
Well,
How often
can I-
often do you eat sweets, Peter?
That's like a 3-4. I mean, all the time. Like,
Okay.
that's basically that's all I eat. Sweets.
All right. So Zach, how often do you eat sweets?
It just depends.
Raisin cookies don't count.
Cookies don't count.
Raisin cookies don't count.
Raisin cookies count. They're sweet.
Oh, come on. Okay, fine. Count the raisin cookies in.
I mean, I was gonna play along with CJ. I think like, oh, good grief, like months. I think
What do you mean months?
like
When's the last time you had a sweet before the cake?
when's the last time I had a cake or when?
Anything sweet, anything that had a high sugar content before your birthday.
Yeah, get him on the grill. That's right. Get him on the grill. Put him on the. Ask him all the hard questions.
I am, Peter. I am.
What? Probably Christmas.
Christmas? January, February, March, 3 months?
Christmas or Thanksgiving? Like it's
Or Thanksgiving?
yeah.
Peter, come get your boy.
This is crazy.
No wonder he's so good at social distancing. Nobody wants to be around anybody who's not eating sweets, but once every 3 months?
Easiest way to social distance is to tell somebody that's like, no, we're not. I'm not coming over to your house. That's for sure.
Good Lord.
I mean, I'm saying I employ the methods that we've taught our kids, which is basically like, pretty much every meal you can have something sweet, like not like, a ton, but like, something a little bite of a cookie, a little Reese's peanut butter cup, a little something, because you just kind of, you don't want to make it like a forbidden fruit thing where like all of a sudden you just, you flip out, like, when you get high, when you have a cookie, like, like my man experienced this weekend, he's over here, but but everyone's got their own thing, so, but as kind of a contrast, my wife, me, and the kids, because we're all, working on things that we're trying to figure out ways to hang out here at the house and keep our distance away from everybody, for obvious reasons. I say we, it was mostly my wife. We would be doing a lot of work. That word would be doing a lot of work. But we made a coronavirus cake.
What?
A cake. A coronavirus cake, not of the virus itself, but just because while we're here, we got to do something. So made a cake from scratch, like 2 layers, chocolate cake, vanilla, buttercream with a little rainbow. Did 6 different colors of icing, put the icing around the cake, and let the kids do some of the icing and make that stuff and help make the cake and all that. Yeah, it was a good project. Cake was good.
Okay, so you guys had the Rona cake. I see you.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious, actually. Mm.
Yeah, it was good. It was like a little rainbow cake, just a little something. like I said, we're working on. I think everybody's gonna have to start to figure out. You're gonna have a lot of time. You're going to have a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you have kids, you should go ahead and plan for them. Being home for a long time. I mean, I know the current recommendations for schools. I think the preliminary plan would be for Shelby County schools to come back next week, and for like the municipal schools to come back the week after. But that ain't happening. I mean, if you just look at the country, it's pretty clear what's going on. I know Ohio's governor basically yesterday said that he's preparing for schools not to go back at all this school year.
Mm-hmm.
New York City just reluctantly, they did not want to postpone schools. They waited till pretty late. But once they did, they canceled it all the way through April 20th. And, I see no reason why we should prepare as if we're any different. So I'm thinking, just as a realistic expectation, we're going to be out of school till at least end of April, and probably a decent chance that this school year is already done. So, knowing that and kind of trying to figure out what to do from there, you got to start getting creative and start making cakes. I can tell you.
South Carolina also on that list that is canceled school for the foreseeable future. Role reversal. The wife and I have decided we're going to do some of that. So she sits on the couch playing Pokemon. First time playing Pokemon. So she sits on the couch playing Pokemon, and she has given me some books to read. And so she'll play Pokemon, I'll read books, and then we'll converse with one another about our findings. So that is how we're trying to pass the time in our household. And I want to hear from you guys. Text in how you guys trying to pass time, keep the kids entertained. It can't be Rugrats or Powerpuff Girls or whatever the hell the kids are watching these days. That's what I was watching as a kid. It can't be all of that all the time. The electronics, the screens, eventually they'll get tired of doing that. So what are some of the fun things that you're doing to help keep your kids entertained as we go through this quarantine, man? So text in 67129 or call in 360-8255. And it's just a wild time to be alive right now, thinking about what all is transpiring. You've got the CDC saying, like you said, Peter, gatherings of 50 or more people need to stop, need to cease and desist. Well, what does that mean from a sports standpoint? That means that you brought it up last week a lot. How do we get back to normalcy? We won't know for sure when we can get this sports thing back rolling again. And with the CDC saying for the next 8 weeks, don't be in gatherings of more than 50 people, that means that if sports does come back, it'll most likely come back without the presence of fans. And we saw yesterday the NBA come out and say, listen, their owners are shooting for, at best case scenario, pick the season back up in June with no fans. And I saw that, and it was just, why even do that? Why not just call the season if that's what you're going to try and do? I don't understand, Peter.
Well, I mean, first of all, again, these are definitely like unprecedented times. Like as far as any of this planning is concerned, we have absolutely no idea what to do because no one's ever done this before. This is crazy. Like we're in a different world here. So I don't think it would be responsible to completely call the season. I do know that NBA players have been told by the league that they can start to go away from their home markets as of today, which is a different. They were directed at first to stay within their home market for the foreseeable future. That was last week. When all this kind of went down, they said, all right, you guys need to shut it down, but stay close, stay near the facility, blah, blah, blah. Well, now they have relaxed that, knowing that it's going to be a while before this thing comes back, to say that they can go and travel. But obviously right now travel is its own risk and concern, but they can travel as long as they keep the teams abreast of where they are. I know my colleague at The Athletic, Shane Sharania, reporting that. And so, that means that that's kind of an indicator of where things are going from here. They know it's going to be a while. So they have to make those kinds of precautions. And, the question becomes like at this point, if the NBA comes back, let's say, best case scenario, if you look at, what's happening in China now, they're starting to slowly kind of get back. Like they've had some normalcy back to their day to day in the worst hit areas. That's about three months or so from when the thing really started getting crazy. If that's the case, if we're in mid-June and we're all just kind of reluctantly trying to kind of get back to, something approaching normal, can the season even, by that point you're out 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is an off season. You're completely off for 3 months. That's an off season. So guys would then have to come back to do some kind of a camp to then do what, a regular season in June. You're never going to finish the full regular season. And then go into a full playoff through what, August? Like you can't even. Can you find arenas to even do that in? I don't know. We're like, so just to me the logistics of that sounds crazy. And the idea of doing it in empty arenas again seems like, you should be able to. I don't think so, man. You don't know who's where people are coming from. You're trying to avoid spreading. If you looked at a piece, there was a piece that was done over the weekend about patient 31 in South Korea. And patient 31, they threw the first 30. They were doing pretty good. They were under control. Everyone was more or less accounted for, and the spread was under control. And then patient 31 decided that everything was cool and went out and went to a buffet and went to a gathering and infected about 1,000 more people. Mm-hmm. And so one person changed the whole deal. Why do you think that? Why would we think that a player could be any different? Why would we let players go bang around, avoiding all social distancing guidelines, getting much closer than 6 feet for 48 minutes, and then go back to wherever they came from? Like that's not good. Like those things are stuff to continue to spread this thing, and we're trying to stop that. So I don't see it happening even in empty.
I don't see it happening either. And it's one of those things where players can be that, quote, patient 31, but just everyday people can be patient 31. And that's something that you have to ward against also. So you have these events and you have people coming to these events, in this case, sporting events, and you get somebody who's feeling a little icky or not feeling anything, not having any symptoms at all. That person then goes to a bathroom. That person goes to a concession stand. That person is high-fiving fans in the section after a big play, after a big win. That fan then walks out and proceeds to go, because it's a weeknight or a weekend, that fan wants to hang out around one of these arenas. They're downtown. They're hanging out. They're having a good time. They're touching a bunch of stuff. And bow, it spreads like that also, and it spreads super quickly as well. So the protection against being that, quote, patient 31 is very important. I think it was on Reuters, Peter, where that article was. And it just goes to show how contagious this thing is and how important it is for everybody to do their best to stay in and stay away from crowds and give one another proper space when you go out and about. Finally found some toilet paper, by the way, everybody. Thank you all. People were blowing up my phone. People were in my mentions telling me where all the toilet paper was. I appreciate you. Finally found some and was in the store with my wife, in the Dollar General with my wife, and I had quite a big gap between me and the next person. And she's kind of nudging me to move up and says, no, like this may seem odd because you can fit another 2 or 3 people between the two of us, but we have enough space in this store. Stay back. Give each other space. And having to explain that to her and getting her to think that way as well was one of the big things that we had to do over the weekend. And if you are concerned, which everybody is now, everybody's on board with this. You got to look around. March Madness canceled. Disney World is closed. Vegas is shutting down casinos and resorts. Like, this is big. Those industries don't just shut down for no reason. If you are serious about trying to contain this thing and trying to stop it from spreading and cause a huge problem for us in our healthcare system. I don't know how you can go about having games with fans. And if you're saying the earliest you could do something from an NBA standpoint is June, it just, to me, doesn't make sense to do anything at all. I know you're weighing all of your options. This is unprecedented. I get that. But from my vantage point, it just doesn't make sense to try and force a season to progress or even force a champion out of this thing. Because I'm not sure how you do, even if you just came back, Peter, and started with the playoffs. Are you going to go the full 8? Are you going to do 8 teams, 4 rounds to get the finals trophy? Are you going to do 7-game series? I don't know. It's not going to look like anything we've seen before, and I don't know if it's worth it.
Well, I mean, again, this is the whole thing. Like we are all in unprecedented times, but we have to take unprecedented measures. And I tell you what, when we return, I know we got to take a break. When we return, we got to talk about some of this stuff specifically, like what is happening out there right now on these streets. Because we need to have a little bit of a come to Jesus meeting.
Are we gonna have a heart to heart?
We're gonna have to have a heart to heart when we come back.
All right, so we'll take that break. We'll come back. We'll talk, have our heart to heart, and we'll talk some more about what is going on in the world. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
The construction reduction event is on at Wolf Chase Honda. Exciting changes are in the works and inventory must be reduced. Get the best deals right now on all remaining 2019 Hondas while they last. Every new car, every certified, every used car, price to go. Get pre-approved now at wolfchasehonda.com. Wolf Chase Honda is expanding and our prices are dropping. Don't miss these savings. Act now. This huge construction reduction event ends soon.
For the best lineup of quality, fuel-efficient, and fun-to-drive vehicles, get to Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan. Over 1,000 new certified and pre-owned vehicles in one great location. Catch the savings now during our huge model year-end sales event. Score an amazing deal at Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan and get to the game in style at Germantown Road and Highway 64. Family-owned since 1981.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I'm John Conway with Conway Services. Is your home's main sewer line backed up? Do you have multiple plumbing fixtures in your home backing up? Better call Conway Services for our $99 main drain opening special with accessible cleanout. We'll come out and open your home's main drain for only $99. And if it should clog again over the next year, we'll come back and open it again for free. Springtime is the time of the year when tree roots start growing and many of them find their way right into your sewer line. We'll come and inspect your main sewer line using our state-of-the-art Root-O-Vision camera system, all for only $99. That's right, Conway Services $99 main drain opening special with accessible cleanout and a camera inspection. Trust the Rooter experts at Conway Services for all your drain and sewer needs. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. Your neighborhood Rooter experts.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. You'll proudly mow the lawn. Ask if anybody noticed you mowed the lawn. Tell people to stay off the lawn. Compare it to your neighbor's lawn. And complain about having to mow the lawn again. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance, which, of course, will go right into the lawn. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
It's not too early to start planning for spring at Family Leisure. New pools are starting at $19.99, spas starting at $21.99, and swim spas now only $99.99. 5-piece patio furniture starts at only $799. Pool chemicals, toys, accessories, and more up to 20% off. Mention this ad, you'll get free delivery and 1 month of chemicals with your spa purchase. Start your spring planning now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
For invention, with a superpowered mind, a mechanical king.
What's the theme, Zach?
Cartoons.
Jimmy Neutron, cartoon rejoins today. Text in your rejoin suggestion 67129. Cartoon rejoins is the theme. Rick Pitino coming back. Rick Pitino's joining college basketball, going to be the head coach over in Iona. On a typical day, we'd make fun of the NCAA for being ridiculous, and we may still do that. And Rick Pitino coming back in to college basketball with all that he's been through. But it is worth noting that Iona is located in the city that has the largest cluster of confirmed coronavirus cases in the country. And in part, that is because people just won't stop going out. Colleges get canceled. Saw a video in East Lansing. Michigan State class is canceled. What do the students immediately do? They flood the bars. We can't be having that. Peter joins us on Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. Peter, how do we get these people to stop and stay in?
Well, I mean, this is I don't know. I think it's going to be forced here soon. I think that's going to be the number one thing. But we got to talk about this, man. This it is incredibly sad to see. Like there's this thought. Everyone is going through extremely tough times, extraordinary times. There are so many of your friends and family and loved ones and everyone around you who's going to be affected by this, one way or the other. Economically, we're all going to be affected by this, every one of us. And so we are all in this thing together. But we can't be together if we are flagrantly disregarding best practices and rules for how to avoid spreading this thing. Number one, I see so many people. I see there's still conference going on in like Lynchburg, Virginia. There's still some people people are still going to church. Churches are not immune to this. That's not how this thing works. Faith is great and faith is important, and you need to keep your faith this time more than ever. But faith is not flagrantly disregarding science either. And those two things need to be understood. And it's not your choice to say, well, I'm not in the high risk group, so I'm fine, or I feel good. So that's not how science works. It's not about how you feel right now, you could be perfectly healthy and still carry the disease and transmit it to a lot of other people. In fact, the best advice I saw was to assume that you are a carrier already and then live your life as if you are trying to avoid spreading it to someone else. And let that be the measure of how you touch things and how you touch people and how you deal with social distancing and all that sort of thing. Assume that you already have it. And so how would you interact with folks knowing that you could give it to somebody, especially somebody who is older or has their immune system compromised by some other malady, whether it's a respiratory thing or whatever it may be? That you are being highly irresponsible by trying to be, hey, defiant. Hey, you can't stop me from going out. Hey, you can't stop me from. You are helping this thing spread much farther, much wider, and have the effects of this last much longer. And I mean, we have to talk about what this means because locally we're going to see it already in certain areas. You're seeing it. You could read what doctors are talking about in Seattle and New York City, what they've already talked about, and they're going through in Italy, Iran, China. Mm-hmm. The system is overwhelmed, and that means that there are not enough respirators. That means there are not enough equipment for people who are critically ill, and you start to have to make decisions about who lives and who dies. Mm-hmm. And that's not even taking into account people who are just regular sick, people who just have regular issues that crop up like every single day. Folks have stuff that comes up and they got to go to the hospital. Where do we put them? Where do they go? We are trying to limit the spread of this as much as possible so that we can give our incredibly brave and wonderful and fantastic and amazing frontline doctors, nurses, people in the medical industry, people that have been doing this and that are doing this like this is an unreal amount of work that they're doing, and they're doing an incredible job. We got to give them a chance, though. Mm-hmm. We got to give them a chance, man. Give these folks some help and just stay the hell home. You can be a hero by just sitting on your tubby behind and watching Netflix. You can be a hero. Like, it's a lot easier to be a hero now than it's ever been. You are doing something sacrificial and heroic by downing a half a tub of ice cream and watching the entire Fast and Furious series on your couch. That's a heroic act right now. Mm-hmm. We need you to do that. You don't have to sacrifice the way that previous generations did. Not right now. You still have that option. So use it, because if we don't use that option is going to be taken away from us, and you're going to be forced to do whatever is necessary, because that's the way it's been. That's what's happening in Italy. That's what's happening in Spain. Spain, they got drones coming around to enforce lockdown. That may well be happening here soon enough. I don't know, but we could limit that if we all just stopped trying to be the one person who is going to ignore all of science and all of common sense and all the actual information out there and say, it's all just a big hoax. It's all just nothing. It's all a bunch of liberal talking points and all that. You are part of the problem by doing that. Listen to science, please. I know that we've spent generations dismantling science, but it's time to actually listen to science for once.
In my lifetime, we've never seen anything like this. In your lifetime, we've never seen anything like this. And just stop and take a deep breath and look around at what's going on. The NCAA, no March Madness. MLB opening day. We don't know when that's going to be. NHL season, suspended. NBA season, suspended. MLS season, suspended. Disneyland, closed until further notice. Disney World, closed until further notice. MGM in Las Vegas, closing down all of their resorts, shutting it all the way down. Those are 8 things right there that have never happened. Liberal talking points have been around for a long time. Hoaxes have been around for a long time. Conspiracy theories have been around for a long time. Not one of those things has caused an abrupt cancellation of so many major pop culture things, So if you're looking around and you're using common sense, you would say, hey, this 1 and 1 it's got to equal 2. If we're canceling all of these things, if we're suspending all of these things from sports to concerts to plays and on Broadway to wonderful amusement parks to Vegas resorts, we're canceling all of these things, putting all of these things on temporary hiatus. Something real must be about to happen. This is not a moment, like you said, Peter, for you to show your defiance, your toughness, if you will, by going out and braving the elements or braving whatever the hell it is you think you're braving. That you've got to stay away from people. Otherwise, you're going to spread it. You run the risk of getting sick. You run the risk of getting somebody else sick, and you're going to overwhelm the healthcare system. You've got to, like Peter was saying, you've got to give our medical staff, the nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians, pharmacists, whomever, you've got to give everybody a chance to fight this thing. Otherwise, they get overwhelmed, and then it gets to the point to where we are making life or death decisions, more of them. This person we could have helped if we had a respirator, but they're 65. The other person who needs it is 42, so we're going to have to let the 65-year-old try and work it out, and that person ends up dying. Yeah, it's cool to have lived till 70, but if you're 70, that makes you a grandparent to a relatively young kid in some cases. 70, you might be a grandparent to somebody 11, 12, 13 years old. What is better and just as important is having that 70-something-year-old live to be 80-something and pass that wisdom down to their 20-year-old grandchild or their 20-something-year-old grandchild who is now more receptive or just as receptive to hearing it and needs that guidance. It is very important that we look after the people who are at risk to really have serious complications from this. It's important to look after the elderly and the ones with chronic diseases, comorbidities. Also, people with immunocompromised systems. Like, it's important to look after them as well. You're only as strong as your elderly, as your weaker members of your society. So for you to be going out on Broad Street, we all saw that video, is just asinine. It doesn't make sense, and it's incredibly and extremely selfish, and it shows that you care only about yourself and not about the science and not about doing your part to help out society.
Well, and we all we're just kind of, no one is really prepared for this, but we just we've all got to understand how each of our seemingly individual decisions affects everybody else. And it's not just about you anymore. We've been taught for a long time now, that's the message that you've received from a lot of people in government, that oh no, it's all your individual thing. It's the individual market. It's the individual this, the individual that. And we're all a nation of individuals. Well, that's what's hurting us right now compared to other countries who have been able to achieve much more solidarity much more quickly and been able to put this thing under some control. We have all these individual motives that are in play here, individual profit motives, individual incentives, individual this, individual that, and we need a collective right now, all of us, because if you listen to the doctors on the front lines of this thing, it's starting to get really grim, and it's only going to get worse over the next 2 weeks, no matter what happens. Even if we went on full, complete, absolute lockdown from here, it's going to be worse in 3 days. It's going to be worse tomorrow. It's going to be worse for the next 2 weeks. Even in a best case scenario, it's going to be worse if we stopped everything right now, because it's already spread. It's already, we don't even have tests, so we don't even know how many people actually have this disease. You see bigger numbers in other countries. That's because they can test. We can't test, so we don't even know. It could be just because you haven't tested positive doesn't mean you aren't positive. I mean, if you don't get, if you've got cancer and you never get screened for it and you never go to the doctor, then you would walk around thinking that you didn't have cancer until you didn't just, drop dead. And the reason why is because you had cancer, but you never knew. You never counted as a patient. Well, that would be silly. You wouldn't do that. Same thing here. Problem is we can't get people actually tested for this because we've dragged our feet and we don't have the equipment. We don't have the supplies to actually do a lot of these tests and actually make the tests. So once the testing starts to become more widespread, it will have been too late, of course, but we'll know a little more about the extensive nature of the spread and the possibility of this. We've lived in a very blessed world for a long time. All of us, I would say anybody under, 70, certainly, for the most part, you've really not been asked to sacrifice on a major level. We've never had an economic shock of the scope that is about to come. We have not had that. We had moments. We had, certainly 9/11 was a crazy and super shocking and sad and crazy turn of events, no doubt, and tragic in so many ways. That was awful, but that was, a mourning followed by, weeks of mourning and sadness. And then we got back to business. This isn't that. And we have to the quicker we can wrap our heads around that and totally change our behavior and totally change our expectations, then we're going to give ourselves the best chance to get through this as quickly as we can and get to the other side where we can learn, hopefully, a lot of valuable lessons about social safety nets and about taking care of the least of us. But it's going to be rough. We can't sugarcoat it. I don't think it's fair to sugarcoat it with people. Like we gotta be realistic about this thing. We're going to try to have as much fun as we can in the interim. We're going to try to do all we can to help you and us as well get through this thing together. But we got to start by getting a baseline. If you got to go out, stay away from people. You were talking about it earlier. First of all, don't go out unless you absolutely have to. Pick up restaurants, all the restaurants now. I know our friends at Central Barbecue, I just saw they're doing, curbside pickup starting at 10 a.m. today. So you want to go to Central Barbecue? I don't blame you. Great idea. Go there. They will be able to bring it to you. You'll be able to get it. You'll be able to stay, requisite distance apart from each other, and you'll be able to drop it off. They can drop it off. You can come get it, and you can still get your fix, and you can avoid the contact as much as you possibly can. That's the kind of stuff we need to talk about. Forget about going to gatherings. Forget about going to. This is going to be very, very tough for people that have weddings, people that have funerals, people that have get-togethers. It sucks, and I wish there was a better way. And hopefully, when we're through on the end of this thing, and we can all look back on this as a memory, then you can have those get-togethers, and you can have the full blown-out party. I would love nothing more. But for now, please, for all of us, stop. It helps all of us with parents who are older and not necessarily in the best of health. All of us, you know someone who's got some kind of a compromise, something. Do it for them. If not for yourself, please do it for them.
Yeah. Well said. And it's you think about social sacrifice. Last time we've been asked as a collective to make sacrifices. Go all the way back to World War II. You can go to the Civil Rights Movement and think about the sacrifices that those people made and how putting their lives on the line and drastically changing the shape of society. Women got out and got into the workforce because of World War II, which was great, but that was not a social norm. They had to. They was thrust upon them. Black kids are in jail because their parents couldn't go out and protest out of fear of being arrested. Somebody had to make money to pay their bills. That was a huge sacrifice as well. All we're asking, and all the CDC and others are asking, is that people just, stay inside. Get your food to go if you want to eat out, and kick it at the house. That's not a huge thing. That's not too much to ask. That is of the sacrifices that others have had to make throughout the course of time. This pales in comparison. You just have to do it and not be selfish and not be defiant for defiance sake. This is not something that is overly complicated. It's not hard to stay at home. You would probably stay at home anyways. Honestly, it seems like a lot of people are out and about out of sheer defiance to show everybody that they think this is a hoax, and it just isn't. Hoaxes don't shut down leagues, man. It doesn't close Disney World. It doesn't have MGM closing resorts. It doesn't stop Broadway. Hoaxes don't do any of those things. This is real, so treat it like it is real. We'll talk about that and more on the other side. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat every afternoon for Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
we could stay here forever. We deliver olives, Greek sandals, and everything you need to relive that perfect trip to the Mediterranean. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx delivery.
Memories. What we deliver by delivering.
Here's a message for all the doubters out there. It turns out you're right. Southland isn't like the other casinos. Sure, Southland has craps tables that are 14 feet long and live blackjack tables with real dealers. But in other ways, they come up short, like that shorter drive and the shorter time to earn rewards. But you don't care about getting more for less, do you? Southland Casino Racing. Surprise yourself. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 1-800-522-4700.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hey everybody, it's here. Truck Month at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch is where all the Silverados are. And you won't believe all the zero finance deals. 0 for 72 months plus $500 cash with your new 2020 Silverado Crew Cab. Or get $6,000 in cash for you. And hurry in and you can get the new 2019 Silverado Double Cab with $6,500 cash back for you. Or finance it with GM at 0 for 72 and still get $3,000 in cash. You're not going to do any better than this. Every Silverado truck you're looking for is at All-Star Chevrolet right now. So if you've been waiting for Truck Month, head to Olive Branch this week. Not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. And everybody at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch has one job: to make sure you get a better deal, have more fun, and in record time. And don't forget to ask them about all the deals on new Blazers and Suburbans. So find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch today, or check out allstarautogroup.com.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Peter, what's your favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoon?
Hanna-Barbera?
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera, Hanna-Barbera, whatever you want to call them.
I don't know, Hanna-Barbera, Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Was the Huckleberry Hound Hanna-Barbera, right?
Yeah.
I liked Huckleberry Hound. I liked Hong Kong Phooey.
Ooh.
I don't think we can do Hong Kong Phooey these days. I think that might be a problem. Loved Hong Kong Phooey. Jabberjaw too.
Jabberjaw was great.
Man, the Cartoon Express, USA Cartoon Express was where the action is. You're probably a little too young for that, but back in the day, USA Network, man, they would run nothing but Hanna-Barbera stuff over and over and over again, called the USA Cartoon Express.
Boomerang was my favorite channel growing up.
Yeah, well, so they ended up taking that concept, Peter, and just sticking it on its own channel. Cartoon Network ended up getting a hold of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons and then just stuck them all on Boomerang, and it was great. It's great. Boomerang's still around, ain't it?
I hope so.
I think so. Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. Yogi was my guy. Hey, oh, boo-boo, a picnic basket. I love me some Yogi. Ooh, welcome back into Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. Has it stopped raining? It wasn't. It was wet when I came in.
It's wet, but it hasn't been raining.
It's still cloudy. Don't see the sun.
No sun.
I think it's going to rain some more later on in the week to add to this wonderful week that we're having so far. That wonderful past couple of weeks that we've had so far.
Side note: I was thinking to myself over the weekend, I wonder if you guys were thinking the same thing. Like, with all this rain that we had, I was hoping that this rain would have washed this virus away.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were talking and we were speculating like what all this rain would mean for Memphis in May. Well, now it's kind of like all for naught. I was hoping that we would get all of the rain out early. And so Memphis in May would be really dry. And May may be dry, but Memphis in May not pop off. Looking at the weather forecast on the Doppler doohickey, it's going to be rain today. It's going to rain some on Tuesday. It's also going to rain some on Wednesday. It's going to rain some more on Thursday. And it's going to rain some more on Friday, Peter. I know that warms your heart, doesn't it?
I mean, I'm used to it, I guess. At this point, I mean, why would we expect anything else? They reading about it, they say that this thing, it moisture in general probably helps it transmit rather than hurts it. Dry conditions are what are not good for it. It's sticking around on surfaces for a while. So it may wash off, but that means it's just going to sit somewhere, and that you need it to be destroyed. That's where, again, just aggressive cleaning and taking care of yourself, washing hands. I mean, and washing hands is like it's so basic, but like it's just really important. Like, even if you come in contact with it, if you wash your hands, keep your hands away from your face, wash your hands, you can eliminate big chunks of your risk right there in terms of transmission. And that's why we got to stay away. Like, I had to go out, a couple times this weekend to get just some stuff, groceries and that kind of thing. Like I'm sure most of you did. Mm-hmm. We've got to observe this 6 feet thing. Like, we got to do it. I don't care if you think I'm rude. I'm going to back off if you're going to come into my space. And my space now is much bigger than it was.
Yeah.
When we're all in line at the grocery store, it doesn't do any of us any good to go out there and get groceries and to stock up for our families for the next week or two if we're going to stand in line inches apart or 1 foot or 2 feet apart and have moisture between us just be kind of flowing freely. That you're being counterproductive there. You're undoing the stuff. I get that there's some social graces that are going to have to be ignored here. Like, we're going to have to just start saying, like, hey, back off. Like, this is a matter of, not passing this thing along. It could be a matter of not passing it to a relative or loved one who's already sick. Like, I'm going to be rude if that's what it comes down to. I'm going to be rude and say, look, get away from me. Go. Mm-hmm. We got to start. It would be better if we could all understand this as quickly as possible so that we can all interact with each other. And it sucks. I get it. Like, I'm a people person, and I enjoy handshakes and hugs and all that stuff, but not right now, man. Not right now. Sorry.
Yeah, we can put it in the hug pile, and I'll owe you one. Give you a couple IOUs, mental IOUs, and we can do it that way. And it's real easy. Just extend it out a little bit. It looks odd at first. I did it. Like I said in the last segment, my wife was kind of taken aback by it, thought something was off, and it is no. This is the amount of space that needs to be between me and everybody. I'm operating, Peter, like I got it, and I don't want to spread it to anybody.
Yep.
Exactly. So I'm doing the best that I can to minimize my contact, even when talking to friends, even when talking to colleagues. Zach and I had a nice conversation. I don't think Zach noticed how far back I was, though. That is all because I don't want to spread it, and I don't want to put somebody else at risk of catching it, spreading it to somebody who's going to have an issue with it. Take a couple steps back. It's not that bad. It looks odd at first, but you'll still get to the checkout line and get to checkout and get home. And Peter, you're right. If you're not going to do that, going out and stockpiling on toilet paper is not going to do you much good, man.
No, you're gonna make it worse for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is. I mean, again, like, as you pointed out, and we'll talk about the NFL and free agency and stuff. And I mean, there are a few sports-related things to get to, but the number one thing that we can't. I mean, I can't stress it enough right now. I mean, I'm thankful that a lot of NBA owners seem to be coming together and helping to pay some of their employees. We're all going to have difficulty going forward in a lot of different ways. This is just going to be. I want us all to be ready for significant disruption in your life. Mm-hmm. But it starts by just observing and learning the new normal of this stuff. Do that for other people. Don't. It's. I get it, man. I get it. It's awkward. It's weird, but we don't have to freak out. No one has to go crazy. The supply chains are unaffected by this at this point. So there's going to be food. There's going to be essentials, all that stuff. We don't need to hoard anything. But when you go out to get it, stay clear of people and just go do your thing. If you have to touch surfaces, wash your hands. Wash your hands. And wash them for 20 seconds at least with warm, sudsy water. That's just the basic stuff that we're talking about. These are just basic things that we all have to learn to do. We all have to learn to stay 6 feet away from each other. We all have to learn not to go out at this point for a while. You have to do this stuff. And if we all do it together, we can mitigate. And we can make a big difference in all of this. The studies have already shown that. But you just have to do it. And it starts now. It can't start in a week or whatever. That means a lot of sacrifices from everybody.
Yeah, we got more to come on the other side. NFL free agency. Some dominoes are falling. Some people getting franchise tag. Ryan Tannehill got a big deal. What that means for this quarterback class of free agents. What that means for Dak Prescott and what he's trying to get from the Cowboys. Maybe we hear from Jerry Jones. Who knows? I hope so. We got all of that plus more about the coronavirus on the other side. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Okay, I know when you told me you were pregnant, I didn't have the best reaction.
What you said was, I have a designated driver to Sweetgrass for months.
And like I said, it wasn't the best reaction.
You think?
But we do come to Sweetgrass a lot, and it's so much more than a bar. It has such great food.
So I'm going to be eating a lot?
Well, that's not what I meant. I just meant with the great menu, you'll be able to find something to love even if you're not feeling great.
Not feeling great? I'm pregnant, not sick.
And there are plenty of non-alcoholic drinks.
Since I'm the designated driver to Sweetgrass.
Well, this is going to be a long...
I wouldn't finish that sentence if I were you.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales. Frontier Western Store is proud to announce their T-shirt sale is back. All regularly priced novelty T-shirts are buy one, get a second half price. Tons of new prints by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, and Puppy Love, as well as men's tees by Live Oak and Haybo are included. Frontier's women's boutique is loaded with new styles and colors in current trends of tops, tunics, and dresses. And most are just $14.99, available small to 3X. While you're there, be sure to check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Shop thousands of boots year-round that are in stock, ready to try on and take home. Shop at a local store with excellent service. With their extensive selection of dress and work boots, you are certain to find your next favorite pair. Frontier receives new styles and restocks daily from all the largest boot makers: Dan Post, Durango, Rocky, Ariat, and more. Available in men's, women's, or children's. Outfit the entire family. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
All right.
Is this the trap mix? No, this is the regular mix. Yeah, Peter knows what's up. Hey. My sister was big in the door. Like that was her cartoon. You can lead the way. Welcome back in. Sports 66 Mornings with Peter and CJ. Oh, man.
Remember, swipe or no swiping. Come on. Swipe or no swiping.
Can we say that for the Rona? Rona no infecting? Rona no infecting? Can we, if we all say that in unison fast enough, will that stop the spread?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. That's not how science works.
Much like a lot of this stuff that doesn't work either. We got to listen to science, CJ.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Just keep reminding me that. Texans have texted in on the First Bank text line. You can too, 671-291. Texas says, thanks for the pharmacist. Shout out, CJ. You're welcome. I stand with the pharmacist, even though I flunked out of pharmacy school. I'm with them in spirit.
Hey, man, pharmacists are out there doing their thing too. We appreciate them a lot because they're taking. Everyone's going to need a lot of patience at this time, and so they shout to them because I've got a couple friends in the pharmacy game, and it's not easy right now. I've gotten some shouts from doctor friends of mine that are just kind of echoing what we were talking about and talking about that they really, really, really pray and hope that folks will start to do this because it is already rough and it's going to get a lot rougher.
NFL league year is set to begin on time. That means free agency is going to start Wednesday. The NFL, this is how the coronavirus has affected everything that we enjoy doing to escape the moment a little bit. The NFL is set to do the draft in Las Vegas. Vegas is shutting down, man. There's no way that can go on. I don't know why.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, right? You think about the if anyone is money focused and bottom line focused and can usually stay open in anything, it's them. I mean, like if you're voluntarily shutting down casinos,
mm-hmm.
like that should be the clarion call, the warning to everybody to say, hey, everybody, this is for real. This is as real as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
They're shutting down Disney World. I mean, Disney World it doesn't shut down for anything. It was, and yet last night, on the people that were down there, man, everyone's just crowding together. Like, what are we doing? I don't get it. I mean, we have this travel ban that was put in place, and clearly we didn't prepare for it as a country at all, and didn't get anyone ready for it, and we're all just sort of seems like we're flying by the seat of our pants going out of this response. And so, people land. And as of this morning, still crowding in when they land. You got people. You had one line of people. There was a report from Dulles in Washington, D.C., where they had separated out people that were in either infected by coronavirus or suspected to be infected, and they had them in one line, and they had everyone else in the other line. But the two lines like snaked together, so like they were just next to each other for quite a bit. Like what is happening? Like 6-8 hour waits, people just crammed. You could not ask for a better way to spread viruses. Like it was worse somehow. So that's where I think we take 2 steps forward, and then it's like now there's 3 steps backward. Now we've spread it even more than all of this. So like, it's frustrating, man. It's heartbreaking because it's going to lead to a lot more discomfort and death.
Yeah, and that people don't seem to want to believe it to be true, don't want to believe it to be the case. But, like, that's Vegas. MGM Resorts is going to take a beating. They're going to lose, I would imagine, close to $1 billion just off closing in Vegas, all of the resorts in Vegas. Disney World, how much money do you think Disney World is going to lose off of being closed? Disneyland, throw them in there. Bringing it back to sports. How much money is the NBA losing right now? It's been great. One of the things that has been great, though, is to see the owners and the players all unifying to make sure that the hourly workers at the stadiums make sure they get paid and they get taken care of. And that's what we need more of. Everybody stepping in to take care of one another. It might not be you can't be Rudy Gobert. Most of us can't be Rudy Gobert. One, because like Rudy is an idiot and spread this thing to everybody, but we don't really have the money Gobert has, and Gobert has made a lot of donations. All right, and that's how he's looking out for people. You can look out for people by simply staying in, and when you're out in public, respecting the space. Give everybody 6 feet of space so that you don't run the risk of catching it and then spreading it to a loved one at home, or if you have it, you don't run the risk of infecting somebody else with it so they go out and spread it to a loved one. This is not that big of an ask. It's not that big of a sacrifice, but it's something that needs to be done. No need to panic. No need to buy up all the toilet paper, but just be conscientious of everything that you're doing and operate like you have it, like you said, Peter.
Well, and again, like, you have to start looking at like there was a guy that's posted about the Vegas thing, and he says that he was a weapons specialist, and he was hired to work. He worked in Vegas as a special forces SWAT team kind of guy. So when they would have like a suspected an IED or some kind of a bomb threat or something that would happen, from time to time on the Strip, they had special procedures so that they could avoid closing the casino for even 1 minute when there was like a bomb threat. They would minimize that and say, well, we can't close the whole thing, so maybe we can close a tiny little. So to think that they are voluntarily going to close for 2 weeks you better understand how unprecedented that is and how real that whole thing is, and take it that seriously. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I'm thinking from a sports standpoint, I see all this NFL free agency stuff, and I'm on the one hand, I'm glad that it's nice to have just a regular story about somebody signing a contract, like Ryan Tannehill's deal. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. That adds a little, I guess, normality to proceedings to some extent. But then I got to be thinking, what is it even going to look like in three? I can't help but kind of spin that forward, and think about what that contract's going to look like in the wake of what all this ends up being. And I just don't know. I'm glad, I guess, that from the Titans' perspective, I guess good news that they've locked up a quarterback. I don't know. Are you comfortable paying Ryan Tannehill anything remotely close to that? I mean,
no. You know my stance on quarterbacks.
Ooh, man, oh man.
No, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you? You got Tannehill because the Dolphins looked at him and
4
said,
years, 118, 4 and 118. Is that the situation?
Yeah, 62 guaranteed.
Yeah, 62 guaranteed.
It just doesn't seem like a good move for you. I would want to make sure that it is not simply a blip on the radar. I haven't seen anything from Ryan Tannehill to show me that he is a quarterback that can carry you through, the postseason to AFC Championship game and beyond to get you a win, a division title in Tennessee. I don't think he is that type of player. And this goes to my other point about how we value quarterbacks. That team is rolling when Derrick Henry is rolling. That is a run to set up everything else. And so the engine in that team is Derrick Henry. I don't think it's Ryan Tannehill. And sure, he came in and played much better than Marcus Mariota did. He was able to get the ball out of his hands and be accurate enough to give that receiving core, specifically Ole Miss guy, A.J. Brown, give him a chance to catch the ball running. And we've seen how dynamic A.J. is with the ball in his hands. But still, that is a team to me, if we're valuing, forget the position, if you're going, CJ, give me your top Titans offensive weapons, and in no order with the first three, it would be Brown, Lewan, and Henry, and Tannehill would be maybe fourth. Maybe. I don't understand why we're throwing all this money at an okay football player, but I get it. It's the quarterback position.
Well, so here's the thing. Number one, you've got this new collective bargaining agreement that has been agreed to. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Number two, this thing is still going on, and I don't think that as I mentioned, on the one hand, I'm glad there's some normality. On the other hand, I know Peter King wrote this morning that one of the GMs talked to him over the phone this weekend and was angry and said, "We've got to stop doing this. We're telling the rest of the world we don't care. We're in a national emergency and we're doing this. It's awful. Can you imagine the reaction of some players signing a $60 million contract this weekend and that being in the headlines while thousands of people are losing their jobs because of this virus? It's ridiculous. It's arrogant. It looks gross. We need to chill out for a while. The optics are going to be awful." And I couldn't agree more. As much as I'm happy to see normal stuff, this seems crazy to me. What are you doing still signing contracts? What are you doing still doing this stuff? Put everything on hold. And that includes free agency, trying to scout players, sending players around. Some teams are still planning to use private planes to fly in free agents this week. And then, you got to have pilots that come in and fly around and fly home and leave home and then get back. It's not the time, man. It's not the time to be doing it. I don't understand why. And if everyone could put this on hold just like everybody else, why are they the only ones who don't have to sacrifice? I don't get it. Now, from a pure football standpoint, it's a crazy deal, and because you only have one franchise tag, you can't do that for both Tannehill and Derrick Henry, and Henry is a much likelier franchise candidate. So they had to make an agreement with Tannehill before today. I mean, they could have agreed to push this back, but they didn't for whatever reason. The structure of this deal is interesting because the first 2 years are fully guaranteed, and that means that if things mess up, if he has injury, if he has trouble, whatever, and the Titans end up having to cut bait, this ends up being a 1-year deal for $62 million.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he continues to go on, it becomes a 3-year deal after that second guaranteed season for $91 million. And to me, this is obviously way too much. But especially because not only is Tannehill merely an average, maybe like a slightly above average quarterback, like at best. And you're watching those playoff games, he did what he had to do, and he had a really good game in Baltimore, but that was about it. But the guy's been hurt. I mean, 2 ACL tears, a shoulder injury, missed 24 games in his last 3 seasons with the Dolphins. That's half of his games in those 3 seasons. The odds are that either through injury or just kind of underperformance, there's no way he's going to live up to this in the best case scenario, and they could end up paying through the nose. Good for him for using the leverage that he had to get the deal, because this is a leverage-based deal, no doubt about it. They had to get the deal done. They had to get a quarterback in, and they're going to have to overpay in order to make sure that they could. But yikes, this thing is ugly.
Yeah, I think we spend way too much money on okay quarterbacks, and it really can hurt you in the long run. That this can hurt you from a team building standpoint because you just don't have the money available to go out there and get the quality of pieces that you had around the okay quarterback at one point in time. Joe Flacco immediately comes to mind. Super Bowl champion, and then just falls off a cliff. Well, Super Bowl champion gets paid and then falls off the cliff, because once you pay a quarterback, that quarterback has got to be able to win you games and got to be the reason that you can advance in playoffs. It's got to be the reason pitting a team on his back and carrying him through the playoffs. I'm with you. I don't get why free agency is going on. Tannehill, he's signing with the team. I don't think they're going to make him go through any sort of physical or anything like that. But if you're interested in free agent X, and you want to fly him in to have him go through a physical with your team staff, that just doesn't make sense. That seems like a really unnecessary risk. Some of this stuff I get. People aren't coming by the thousands to watch Tannehill sign a contract or to watch you make an announcement that you and a free agent got a contract deal done. We aren't coming by the thousands. It's not a spectator event. I understand that. So I'm okay with making some of these announcements. I'm okay if you want to go on with some form of the draft that does not involve huge crowds and all of these people all together. If you want to have teleconference calls, have everybody on Skype or something like that from their own offices, I'm okay with that. But we can't have people flying from one part of the country to the next. We can't have large crowds and large gatherings. That's what I really don't get about the NFL deciding that the league is still going to start on the new league season, is still going to start on Wednesday. Everybody else is pushing things back. You show that you're taking it serious also, and you push it back. They might not listen, and people might not be paying attention to what's going on in the NBA or the MLB or hockey, but they pay attention to what's happening in the NFL. And as one of the leader institutions, for whatever reason, the NFL is, show some leadership, show that you're taking this thing seriously, and push it back.
It just seems like, the NFL is typically pretty tone deaf in the best of times, so I'm not surprised in the worst of times they're pretty tone deaf. But yes, push this back. I mean, we don't have to do this. We really don't. We can all do our part, and that includes the NFL. That includes stopping, this free agency, because again, it's just, I mean, like, I don't know about you, man, but I'm happy to have, I guess, on the one, like, I'm happy to have some news that's just like, hey, this is like a normal NFL free agent thing. Like, oh, Tannehill, like, that's a normal sports story. There hasn't been a normal sports story in a few days, and there won't be. So that's cool. A non-virus related sports story. That's different. But on the other hand, to hand out $118 million or $61 million guaranteed, however you want to put it, when so many of your fans, and Nashville has been hit harder than anywhere else in Tennessee right now by this, when so many of your fans are going through really, really rough times and are going to be in financial hardship, I just that seems so incredibly tone deaf to me that it's crazy. So at the very least, for their own PR purposes, it feels like y'all just stop. I mean, it's for so many reasons now is not the time for this.
Yeah, Zach, were you gonna say something, man?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say
because you're a Titans fan.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Cowboys
fan.
I
forgot. Oh, well, we'll talk about that.
I got my own set of problems to deal with my own quarterback. But no, I didn't mind Tannehill's contract. It's just because to me, looking at this free agency quarterback class, are you gonna put $29 million into Jameis Winston? Are you gonna put $29 million into Marcus Mariota, who you had for 4 to 5 seasons, and he pretty much didn't do anything? Like I understand like the talks of Tom Brady possibly going to Nashville, but I mean, like Tannehill at least brings continuity to the system, brings continuity to those young guys, and you're not asking him to lead the team. You just asking him just to make the right throws and not to create those bad turnovers that you had in Mariota for like the last 5 seasons.
I don't think Ryan Tannehill is capable of that. And if I'm paying you $62 million guaranteed, I need you to be amongst the best at your position. And Tannehill is far, far from that. I don't know, Peter. I could be wrong.
I don't think you're wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, we all could be, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, but as we've talked about, like, you and I have discussed this many times before, like, that's the going rate for like quarterbacks. It's just, if you can throw the ball reasonably well and you can lead a team to some extent, you're going to get like $25 million out of the gate. And if you have like, a little leverage the way that Tannehill did with the situation in the franchise tags and all that, then you're going to get a little bonus. And so I don't blame my man for getting all he could get. I'd do the same thing, but that doesn't mean it's the right move for the Titans long term. I don't know that they had a better alternative, though. That's the sad thing for them. There was really not much else they could do.
Yeah, don't do that. But we got to take a break. We'll come back and talk more about what's going on in the NFL as free agency gets set and dominoes begin to fall into place. We talked some about Tannehill. What does that Tannehill deal mean for a quarterback like Dak? What does it mean also for Phillip Rivers, who's out there in free agency, Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater also? What does that mean for the type of money he could get? Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Upon official review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
We deliver jerseys, funny foam fingers, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Tiger Hoops fans have something extra to look forward to this coming March. Not only is it tournament time, but it's the opening of the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum.
After Finch's two-pointer, Ronnie Robinson sank the shot that once again brought the two teams into a tie.
Come to the Pink Palace Museum this March and experience 100-plus years of Tiger men's and women's basketball, from their beginnings as the West Tennessee State Normal School to the present.
The Tigers are very much alive.
Don't miss the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum, opening March 7th.
Do you have concerns about mild memory loss related to aging? And have you thought about taking a supplement to improve your memory, but would like to hear from a pharmacist first? Now there is good news. Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand, so you can safely take care of yourself with confidence. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. 2019 Pharmacy Times survey. Statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Flo here with a really weird word. Buttery. Buttery? It's not quite butter, it's more butterish. Or maybe buttery is like butchery or bakery, a shop that sells artisanal butter products. Dig in, America. Now a word that's even more weird. Flotection. Sure, it's not really a word, but it is really good protection for your new home through me and Progressive. No ifs, ands, or butteries about it. Sorry.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hurt. Here once again are Peter and C.J.
Animaniacs. Welcome back to Sports 56 Morning. Peter, did you ever get to watch, what's this? Animaniacs.
I love Animaniacs.
Yes.
Animaniacs is fantastic. Oh, yeah. Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, I've been showing my kids the Animaniacs.
Good.
Between that and Tiny Toons, the Wizard, that's wonderful. Wonderful.
Such good show. Still holds up. And
I know this
entire
song by heart, just by the way. I know every word of it, no problem.
Do you know the country song, the song that Wacko sings, naming all the countries? Oh my gosh, I need to learn that. I needed that.
Yes.
Geography.
As a geography guy from way back, absolutely. I did.
Okay, yeah, that's one of my favorite songs from a kid's show, and didn't know I was getting that watching Animaniacs. Zach, you got to pull it up over there. Let me hit it.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru,
my man runs through all of them. My goodness, it's amazing.
Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras,
Venezuela, yes.
Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and then
Chile,
Brazil, Costa Rica, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay.
The show taught me so much, and I went back and watched it, Peter. Maybe last year, maybe the year before that. Went back and watched it, and some of the jokes that went over my head as a child landed in my heart area as an adult. I was like, oh my gosh. Wow.
Oh, it was razor sharp, man. Razor sharp for parents and kids. I mean, it was one of those shows, it was a little bit of a younger skewing version, but they had some of the same kind of stuff as The Simpsons, where you would like, the animation when you were a kid, and you'd like some of the jokes, but then when you watch as a grown up, you're like, oh, I see what they're saying. Okay. All right. Yeah. I got you. Okay. I love when they do that. The best animated films and the best shows can walk that line and can give a little extra something for old daddy, like a little something for daddy. In addition to the kids thing, it's great. When are we going to talk about me and The Rock being buddies? I mean, what are we going to do?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yo, for those of you who don't know, Peter is now an A-list celebrity. I don't know if A-list Memphis celebrity, excuse me. I don't know when or how this happened, but Peter and The Rock are like kicking it on Twitter, having full-on conversations. It's crazy, man. How did you make that work?
Well, I have to give a lot of credit, first of all, to The Rock for having great taste, number one. Number two, I got to give a lot of credit to Jessica Benson.
Block Girl JB.
That's right. Our pal from Local 24. Jessica's great. And we had a lot of, she's always like, she's fun to joke around with, and she's got great, sense of humor about all this stuff. So, it's not surprising. She said that her idea was to have drunk history. This is on Twitter. She said drunk history, but with the, because I don't know if you've seen Drunk History, it's where you have someone you can progressively getting drunker and drunker and trying to explain, historical event. And then that their drunken explanation is then reenacted in its drunkenness by whatever the drunkenness is. It's then reenacted by folks. It's great. It's a great concept and very funny. So she says drunk history, but with all of Memphis sports media reenacting famous Memphis sports moments, which I think that's a great idea. I'm on board with that. I volunteered the Memphis wrestling to tell Memphis wrestling stories. And I said, one of the ones I mentioned was the Jerry Lawler back in the mid 90s, cheated to beat a gentleman known as, at the time, as Flex Cavana. Flex Cavana would go on to be the most famous movie star in the world, The Rock, some years later. But at that point, he was just Flex Cavana, a guy, big dude, who was just getting started in the wrestling business. And Lawler pulled out a chain and hit him with a chain and then pile drove him and beat him right there in the middle of Channel 5 studios. And so I said, well, I'll be part of that. And none other than The Rock himself responds to my Twitter and says, I'll happily watch that. So he's on board with this, CJ, which means we have to do this.
We have
to do this.
Absolutely, we have to. I was, believe it or not, when I saw that tweet, I was like, oh my gosh, Peter is doing big things. I was watching The Rock in one of the Fast and Furious movies because we took your earlier advice without knowing it, Peter. We went through and watched a couple of the old Fast and Furious movies from the comfort of our couch.
I mean, you're a hero.
Hey, thank
you. You're a hero.
Anything I can do to help, man. Anything, especially if it means sitting down, eating, and drinking wine straight out of the bottle. Anything I can do to help, man. I can get that moving. What are some other sports moments though, Memphis wise, to get that drunk history thing popping? Immediately, Mike Conley's face mask game comes to mind. The playoff series against the Spurs, the first win comes to mind. I guess this past season for the Memphis Tigers, Birmingham Brawl. Not Birmingham Brawl, Miami Beach Brawl.
Yeah, the Boca Raton Bowl.
Yes,
yeah.
that would be a great one to do, and just do it from the fight on. That would be fun. What would be some other ones for you, Peter?
Well, I mean, again, you got to think about: are we trying to do like great moments? Or are we trying to do like ridiculous moments? Because that's really what that's why wrestling comes up. Because not only do you have that, but you have when Jerry Lawler was run over by a car in the Channel 5 parking lot by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. You had, Terry Funk and Lawler going at it in an empty arena, and Lawler saying, and, you had, you had so many. You had Ricky Morton getting pile drive through a table in 1983 by Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, these are historic, and obviously you have the, I'm not even talking about Andy Kaufman and all that. I mean, that's already been, been done, have movies and all that stuff. So I'm not even mentioning that. But it is. Do we want something like ludicrous, like kind of goofy?
Yes, all
like
of that.
I want the night. There's several fights that I would love to see. The Zach Randolph and Kendrick Perkins, the We Don't Bluff, I'll Beat Your Ass night would be great. You could reenact what was happening in the back when Zach was trying to find him in the locker room area. That was fun. Was it Matt Barnes and like John Henson? I forget, like in Milwaukee that almost fought.
Yes,
that was a lot of fun. You could reenact the 15-16 Grizzlies team that had like 300 different players some of whom I'm not sure actually exist in real life. Something called the Xavier Rattan-Mays played for the Grizzlies that year.
Oh wow!
That'd be a lot of fun. You could reenact the famous Tommy West.
Oh
speech.
yes.
I think that'd be great to reenact drunk, especially. It's painful.
Zach Randolph using Blake Griffin's neck to stand up before promptly getting kicked out of the game in that playoff series clincher.
I love watching Tony Allen kick Chris Paul in the face.
Oh yeah,
a good one too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Unintentionally,
that's a good one.
put it that way.
Unintentionally, as he flails his leg out there to try and stop this man.
Yeah,
judo kick him in the face. Oh, that would definitely be fun to do. Oh, who's my man?
Total accident.
Say what?
I said total accident. That was a total accident. Oh. Everyone.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever. What's the name of my man?
What about the door? Oh yeah, that's painful, man. Painful. Come on.
Yes. Drunk history. That.
I think also the. What about? Do you remember when Cal left and we all stared at the door for like 3 days?
Oh yes.
We had like we had TV. We had like I think it was Fox 13 that had like just a live feed of the door outside of the athletic offices. We're on normal for like hours at a time, just a live feed of a door.
Right.
That would be great. I wonder if our texter 67129. Fire off. What would you like to see? I think Jessica had a great idea. I got to give that all credit to Jessica. Not my idea, but a good one nonetheless. And I think we need to start producing this ASAP.
Yes, she is. She's great. You can catch her on Saturdays on these airwaves. Do believe 10 o'clock on Cerrito Live. Check her out. She is wonderful. And text in your thoughts. Memphis sports moments you would like to see a drunk history recap of. That would be. There are some really good ones. 67129. 67129 on the text line. We left off last segment trying to figure out why the NFL won't push back the league start date. Is set to start on Wednesday, and because they won't push it back, that means that we've got NFL news going on right now from a free agency standpoint. Tannehill is the big domino right now that has fallen. What do you think this means, Peter, for two players who are towards the tail end of their careers and Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers? The Titans are now off the board as possible destination spots. You think Tom Brady still stays in New England?
I mean, it's been a weird one, man, because it's hard to know what is what is all kind of smoke and mirrors and what's real. Mm-hmm. How much is trying to gin up some leverage and how much is legit? Would he legitimately leave? I know that Bill Belichick certainly in years past has had the idea of letting him go and be quite open. That was the whole Jimmy Garoppolo situation. So it's not as if it's something that hasn't been in the back of Bill Belichick's mind, but it still is kind of crazy to think about. Tom Brady playing for anyone else. That said, I think the LA thing is very real. I think that makes a lot of sense for him and for them at this point. And, if Tannehill's getting, 62 million guaranteed and, some of the other guaranteed deals that we've seen, Kirk Cousins, getting basically a full guaranteed $90 or so million in years past, the Russell Wilson's deal. I have to think that even at his advanced age, Tom Brady, with what he's done, he hasn't looked necessarily like, his absolute best, but the guy was still really good. I got to think he's in the 30 to 35 million per year range. And for at least, I don't know that you can sign him for more than 2 years, but I would think 2 years and, 70 million is got to be on the table, 2 and 80. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, like the average salary, the guaranteed, all that stuff, like, Russell Wilson's making 35 a year, on average. Ben Roethlisberger's making 34. Aaron Rodgers is making 33.5. Jared Goff is making 33.5. Carson Wentz makes 32. Tannehill's now close to 30 on an average year. So you tell me in that climate, Brady can't get 35 or even more on a short-term deal? I think he could.
Yeah, and especially when we've seen a team run a quarterback towards the tail end of his career and get a Super Bowl championship like the Broncos did with Peyton Manning there towards the end of Manning's career. So it's been shown to be effective with one player. Others will try and jump in there and try and get that same level of success. Other free agents, other quarterback free agents, in the NFL, be remiss not to talk about Dak Prescott and the money that he thinks he can get and the money that he wants. If Ryan Tannehill is getting close to $30 million, the Cowboys may have messed up not getting Dak's deal done first before this season came and went. I know that they didn't get to the playoffs, but Dak put up some pretty impressive numbers, and it's going to be hard to justify not giving Dak that golf type money.
I mean, do you think that Dak is better than Ryan Tannehill?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that Dak? He's younger. Certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's better than Matthew Stafford?
Yes.
Do you think he's as good as Matt Ryan?
Yes.
Alex Smith.
Yep.
Okay, so those guys, Matt Ryan had signed a 5-year deal a couple years ago worth $150 million, with $100 million of it guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So right out of the gate, that's what you're talking about. Aaron Rodgers, similar time, $134 million over 4 years. That's about $34 million per year, with about $99 million of it guaranteed. Matt Stafford has $92 million guaranteed in his 5-year deal. That's got 2 years left on it. And then we just talked about Ryan Tannehill. His guarantees. He's got $62 million guaranteed out of the gate, but for all practicality, that's closer to $91 million, honestly, unless the Titans were to cut him right away. So in that kind of a climate, based on those numbers, Dak's getting $100 million plus guaranteed, and probably, based on Goff last year, 134. Dak's probably getting, 4 and 150, 4 and 145. He's probably going to. The question is he going to get more than Russell Wilson, who got 4 and 140 with $107 million guaranteed. I think that's probably your starting point right there.
Yeah, and that's wild because again, I don't think Dak Prescott is a revolutionary football player. I don't think he's somebody that is a game changing type of player, but that is game changer money. But because he's a quarterback and he's the next quarterback up, that is what unfortunately that's how this system. Well, unfortunately for some, very fortunately for Dak, that's how the system works. If you prove yourself, like you said, to be competent, to be okay, and Dak has done that, you get paid. You do. Not Matt. Why can I not? Flacco. Joe Flacco. I'm thinking of Matt Stafford, but I'll throw Matt Stafford in there also. Joe Flacco also comes to mind. Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. Like, we were cool with giving them all of that money initially. How confident, how comfortable are you with doing that now? Nick Foles, another one who immediately comes to mind. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Took a Eagles team as a backup, took them to a Super Bowl and got them a Super Bowl win. How comfortable are you with your starting quarterback being Nick Foles making all of that type money? I'm not very confident with any of that, but because it is the nature of the sport and the way that we value quarterbacks in that position, Dak is definitely going to get broken off close to Russell Wilson money, if not more than that.
I guess. Yeah, it's hard to, I would think so, but it's hard to, free agency is weird, and, sometimes comparisons don't work directly, but yeah, based on those comparisons, the Cowboys, to me, they locked up the wrong guys. If you're gonna do early lockups on some guys, I wouldn't have focused on Zeke. I would have focused my attention elsewhere. I think that they've ended up costing themselves a lot of money by doing it kind of backwards.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. We got more NFL talk on the other side. We're also going to get back into the coronavirus because it is affecting everything. Everything. It is affecting everything. We're going to talk how else the coronavirus is affecting the NFL on the other side. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk, 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
You don't have to wait for amazing deals on a new floor. Get spring Black Friday deals right now at Lumber Liquidators Flooring. This week, save up to 35% on gorgeous hardwood and waterproof vinyl floors. Plus, we can arrange for installation by professional independent contractors. And with special financing, you can get started today. These are the floors homes are built on. Lumber Liquidators Flooring.
Let's talk about the fast and fresh breakfast you can enjoy every day at Sunrise on Jefferson. There's nothing more mouth-watering than the house-made buttermilk biscuits, and why not have one of the fantastic breakfast sandwiches on one? Maybe the Dirty South with fried green tomato, or the Rooster with fried chicken, pickle, and Tabasco, or for just $1 more, add an egg for the mother and child reunion. There's the Tennessee Jed, or even the Fit Biscuit with turkey, bacon, and egg whites if you're into that kind of thing. It's all made fresh and fast, just for you at Sunrise.
I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company. The coronavirus situation is causing a lot of cancellation of events, schools, concerts, sporting events, and all kind of social gatherings. It's called social distancing. But you do not have to be distant mentally from everyone in the community because Flynn Broadcasting is with you. We love you. We want to make sure that you are connected and protected from the coronavirus. So keep listening to this Flynn Broadcasting Station. We'll keep you informed, we'll keep you in touch, and we'll keep you connected to your friends. So as soon as this situation is over, we can go back to our normal living. I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company saying we love our community, we love you as individuals, and we are committed to your well-being.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Stop waiting and start off-road living in a Can-Am today. The Spring Fever event is now on at Olive Branch Motorsports. Take on every task, trail, and terrain in a Can-Am off-road vehicle that will easily handle anything that comes your way. And for a limited time, get up to $2,500 off on select 2019 models, making it easier than ever to go out and play. Visit Olive Branch Motorsports now at 5656 Goodman Road or online at obmotorcycleatv.com.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Problem for our generation is finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe building a rocket.
Welcome back in.
Climbing up
Venus and Verb. Nope. Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. I told you I was going to tell you how else the coronavirus may be affecting the NFL. Vegas, Nevada. The Raiders are supposed to be playing there. They're supposed to be getting a stadium built there. Well, But with the news about the virus and trying to keep everybody safe, it looks like they're going to send the people working on the stadium elsewhere home. And it looks like it's going to take that stadium a minute. So the team formerly known as the Oakland Raiders may still have another season in Oakland. And they were planning on moving to Vegas at the start of the 2020 season. Peter joins us now as well. It's everywhere, man. It's in all walks of life. You got to start taking this seriously.
If you're not taking it seriously now, what else do you need? I don't understand what the issue is. I hope our texters is 67129. I hope our callers 360-8255 on the First Bank text line, First Bank phone line. Hope we're all taking it seriously. And again, we welcome you guys to use this, what is frankly an unprecedented time, as kind of a therapeutic time to talk, a time to come together in a way. I think it's a unique medium that we have here, the ability for us to be on with you and kind of just talk amongst ourselves, and it's going to be, much more of a free-flowing, extemporaneous show for the next little bit as we kind of figure out, what to do in the wake of all of this. It's going to be unique. We're going to need your help in all of this, but I think it's a great opportunity also for us to, we'll have some creative elements as we continue and as things sort of settle down into something of the normal pacing of our abnormal situation, but also just a chance for you to get out your experience. If you need to talk, if you need to connect with somebody, that's what we're here for. So, you could text us, we could talk about it. You can call us, we can talk about it. I think it's our responsibility, honestly, as an outlet out there that's talking to everybody, not only to provide you with the best and most accurate information that we can give you on this situation, but also an outlet for you to be able to connect in a way that, social distancing and regulations might not allow you to. We can't connect together in spaces of more than 50 people for the next few weeks. But we can connect in more than 50 right here. We got way more than 50 together right now. And so that's a unique opportunity for us. So I hope that as we go on with this, we'll help all of you guys and certainly ourselves, because it's important for us too, to figure out the best way to use this and to have as much fun and as much entertainment while also being a helper in this as we possibly can.
Yeah, so call in 360-8255 or text in 67129. If you're a first-time texter, text 56-JOIN. That's 56-JOIN to 67129 on the First Bank text line. Texters have already texted in. All you got to do is bring up the Cowboys, and it lights up. The problem with Dak is he's not nearly as good, and Jerry knows it. Another texter says Dak only has better numbers than Tannehill because he's in a weaker division in conference. Move Dak to the AFC South, and he won't have those numbers, so therefore pay him less than half of those other Super Bowl and playoff QBs you guys name. Hashtag Tony122.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
But you can say that, but I mean, how can you prove that? And Dak is not going to roll with that. Dak's not going to say, "Oh, you're right. I'm not as good. I'm playing in a weaker division," which the NFC East is terrible. I think we can all agree on that. But he's not going to say, "You know what, you're right. I'm going to take 75% because I'm playing only 75% as good of 10." No, that doesn't work like that. Come on, everybody knows that.
And honestly, I feel like most people's disdain towards Dak is because of the star on the helmet. Because honestly, Dak has been a really good quarterback from his rookie year all the way up until this point. Now every year it's always something different. Because rookie year, everybody call him Dink and Dak. To now, he can throw the ball down the field, but it's like he can't win you tough ball games. But like 2 seasons ago, he was actually winning you big ball games in clutch moments. So it's like it's like a give or take with most of these fan critics.
He's young, and he's got, while he doesn't have huge playoff success, he does have a couple of division crowns, and it's hard for me to imagine shortchanging or paying a guy what he's worth at the quarterback position who is young and has division titles to his name. Like that's hard for me to wrap my brains around. I wouldn't pay him But I wouldn't pay any of these quarterbacks because there's some nuance. There is a lot that goes into a quarterback success. If it's a team sport, the penultimate of team sports, I can't just place all of the success or failures of a team on a quarterback on the field. I can place some of the failure on a quarterback off the field as far as contract goes, as far as that ability for a team to go out there and get that quarterback quality weapons and quality pieces. But on the field, it is a team game. I just don't understand why we are going to give football players of the caliber of Ryan Tannehill all of this money. We're going to do the same thing with Dak. It just doesn't make sense to me, Peter.
Listen, at some of this stuff, quarterback payment in general doesn't make sense. In a lot of cases, I don't think that this is going to be an exception. But I agree with Zach to some extent. Like, I mean, any of the hatred that comes through, a lot of it just is if you wear Cowboys gear, you're either going to be unusually loved or unusually hated.
Right.
That's just part of the gig, right? But Dak is one of the more difficult guys to figure out, even in amongst this. Because if you're trying to evaluate Dak, if you evaluate him based on like his best performances, like he's got some really good performances. Like he's had some really good games and he's looked really good. Or if you evaluate him on some of his worst performances, there's some stinkers in there. So his lack of consistency to me is what kills him, and some of that has to do with the players that he's played with and the system that he's found himself in, and the nature of his years in Dallas. I still think he's a really, really talented quarterback, but he's also had the benefit of like a tremendous run game, tremendous offensive line. I mean, he's really hard to evaluate, man. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. We'll talk about more going on in the world of sports and with this coronavirus that has most of the sports world temporarily shut down for the moment. And hey, I know that we're supposed to stay away from gatherings and large crowds, but Corky's is a great way to go if you're looking to eat out. You can order online, Corky'sBBQ.com. You can pull into the drive-thru, get your food to go, bing, bang, boom, easy. Great food, and you're not in a large crowd. You can also always go to Corky's and buy a gift card. These small businesses, these restaurants, and other places of business really need your support in this time. I know that we aren't trying to be in crowds, but you can still just go in, pop in real quick, grab a gift card, grab a Corky's gift card, and then pop back out, and you can use that gift card at a later date. Corky'sBBQ.com is a taste of Memphis everywhere. We'll be back with more right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
You're scrambling around. You need a haircut. Where you gonna go? I got a place that has 15 locations. I've got a place where details matter. I've got a place that can be invigorating and relaxing at the same time. You know what it is. It's Supercuts. Every haircut ends with the signature hot towel finish. Every haircut matters. When you're getting ready, you go into Supercuts. The stylist will pay attention to every detail. So you get the haircut you want, and, of course, you're going to finish with that signature hot towel. You walk out clean, sharp, and not just ready, but super ready. And you might want to ask that hairstylist about what the tea tree experience is. One part invigorating, one part relaxing. The tea tree experience is something you need to try. 15 locations. I mentioned that, didn't I? All you've got to do is go to supercuts.com. You'll find the one nearest to you. Get super ready at Supercuts.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown is not your typical sports bar. The Vault does have 30 TVs, but there is more. Monday is steak night with $25 in-house smoked prime rib, ribeye, or filet. Tuesday is industry night, and they're open late. Wednesday night is double the fun with poker night upstairs and ladies' night downstairs. And Thursday, it's college night. There's always a great reason to go to the Vault with great game day specials and more great food from Chef Dirk Meitzler. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Extreme Experience, the nation's premier supercar driving experience, is coming to Memphis this March 20th and 21st. Imagine driving your dream cars on a real racetrack with no speed limits. Drive a Lamborghini Huracan, Ferrari 488, and the all-new Mustang Shelby GT500 and more. Don't miss your chance to drive 500-plus horsepower supercars on a racetrack with Extreme Experience at the Memphis International Raceway this March 20th and 21st. Tickets start as low as $199. Visit xxspeed.com or call us at 866-273-7727 to reserve your spot today. Space is limited. Save 20% with code DRIVETIME. Visit xxspeed.com to book your drive.
I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company. The coronavirus situation is causing a lot of cancellation of events, schools, concerts, sporting events, and all kind of social gatherings. It's called social distancing. But you do not have to be distant mentally from everyone in the community because Flynn Broadcasting is with you. We love you. We want to make sure that you are connected and protected from the coronavirus. So keep listening to this Flynn Broadcasting station. We'll keep you informed, we'll keep you in touch, and we'll keep you connected to your friends. So as soon as this situation is over, we can go back to our normal living. I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company saying we love our community, we love you as individuals, and we are committed to your well-being.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Looking dizzy, goalie too, Lofty and Wendy join the crew.
What is this?
This is Bob the Builder.
Oh, this was a little bit after my time. I'm not.
Wait.
Not super familiar about. Oh, here it is.
Wait.
There it is. Yes, we can. I got that part. I only know that part of the song.
Hey, we need Bob the Builder in these uncertain times more than ever. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. That's what we need.
Bob the Builder, an inspiration for all of us. Welcome back into Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. The leader of the IOC's Coordination Commission for the Tokyo Olympics says there's no May deadline. That's contradictory. The homie Dick Pound said there was a May deadline, but this person says there's no May deadline to cancel the games, and he remains confident that the event will go ahead despite sports being suspended or temporarily canceled, put on hiatus, however you want to word it. All over the world. So I'll ask you, Peter, we're going to have the Olympics this year?
Well, as I've always said in my life, if you can't trust Dick Pound, who can you trust?
Listen.
I think that's, as Dick Pound goes, so goes the nation.
And Dick Pound had big words, big announcements about the Olympics and possibly having that May deadline. I roll with Dick Pound, man. I believe everything Dick Pound is saying.
Now, to be quite clear, honest, and all that stuff, do I think we're going to? No, I don't. Honestly, irrespective of my homie Dick Pound, I cannot. I don't see how that's possible. Based on, I mean, again, even if everything is returns back to normal or close to normal in June, the schedules will have been so interrupted with all the qualifiers and all the athletes getting ready and all that stuff that it seems like it would be very hard to have the Olympics in their normal form at that point. So I just, it seems unrealistic to think that. I hope that we can, but it also to me would seem, I don't know, man. We're going to have to read a lot more about this, and we're going to have to get a lot more of a grip on this from the epidemiologists out there, and whose job it is to study the spread of disease and how that works. But to me, I don't know how you could feel super confident that we would have this under so much control that we would want to bring everyone from around literally every country in the world together in one spot for 2 weeks, living in the Olympic Village. That seems like the best way to spread a pandemic across the entire world. So I can't see how we're going to be so confident by that point that we think that's an okay thing to do.
And Japan has just dealt with this thing and still is dealing with it, the severity of it and the seriousness of it. I'm with you. I don't know how anything that requires that type of international travel. I don't know how anything can be played. Dick Pound, I think, is on to something, and I don't think the Olympics are going on either. They had the torch lighting ceremony closed to the public in Athens. I don't know what the rule is or what the procedure is for touching the torch now. It comes through everybody's little city, everybody's town, and it's a great moment. It's a whole lot of fun to watch the torch run by. But when you pass it, are we wiping the thing down? How are we passing this torch around? It just doesn't seem practical to go on with the Olympics, or to say something like, hey, the Olympics are still going to go on with all that has happened around the world, especially in the world of sports, with not only sports leagues over here in the United States being put on hold, but look around at other countries. Look at Italy. Look at Spain. The Chinese Basketball Association. Look all over the world and see what is going on in sports. I don't think it's going to go on either, Peter.
So hopefully it will be. I mean, again, that's all we can do at this point is hope. But I want to be as clear as we can. Like, I don't think hope should replace common sense. And hope needs to be we need to constantly lean on hope and togetherness and all that stuff. But it can't be a replacement for common sense. It can't be a replacement for action. I've talked about this last week and the week before, CJ. I'm frustrated because it feels like, from a national standpoint, even from a local standpoint, we don't have a lot of leadership with regard to what to do. And I think that has made it a lot worse. If you had strong leadership from the very beginning of this thing that took it seriously, that took science seriously, and said, this is a pandemic. This is really an unknown force that's in our world right now. We've never seen anything quite like it, but we know that it's extremely contagious, and we know the best way to stop it, or at least slow it down, is to avoid each other. If we had done that, and we knew that for weeks, and if we had done that, even locally with shutting things down or issuing forceful statements, not statements that are contradicted by somebody else, or statements that are like, well, maybe you should, or well, maybe it's okay to do this. I mean, we had a government. A national government that in as early as last week, this time, was saying it's fine, go out and do your thing, no problem. Like you're not going to lead like that, and I think leadership is what we need at this point, and someone has to step in and say stop, and these are the consequences, and this is what's going to have to happen, and we're going to incentivize it. We're going to put this out there for you. We're going to make sure that you get paid. We're going to make sure that you get whether that's a universal basic income or whether that is a stipend or whether that is some kind of a, even access to a zero interest loan of some sort, some way to make sure that you have money and access to money throughout all this to take the incentive of you having to feeling like you have to go to work in public out of it altogether, out of it. And so that we can get this thing, but it's got to be like a combined approach. It's got to be an approach that, brings in all different sectors. And I hope, it's way beyond like when it would have been, most appropriate to do it, but I hope we can still do it. And I still think we're getting some mixed signals out there. I mean, you still have people this weekend, man. Disney World's closing, sure, but last night you had, thousands of people crammed in there in extremely tight quarters to watch the show and to hang out and all that stuff. Man, look, it sucks that you paid for your vacation. It sucks. And I'm sure that you would, you need your money back and you need to get out. All that, I get it, man. That's the worst timing imaginable. But don't endanger yourself further. Mm-hmm. Don't put yourself even further out there. And someone should stop them from doing that. I mean, you had the cops last night in New Orleans going up and down Bourbon Street saying, hey, you are a public danger. You are a public health problem. I mean, this is what you have to do because sometimes people just don't get it. If we had folks that listened earlier, if we had more forceful messages earlier, maybe that wouldn't be as necessary. But here we are.
We didn't get those forceful messages, and we still haven't gotten them. And that's why you see situations in college towns where college is out, but the students are still crowding around in bars. That's why you see Broad Street in Nashville still packed with people shoulder to shoulder. The CDC says, don't gatherings of more than 50 people. Just stop them. Pause them for the moment. Give 6 feet for you and the nearest person so we're not spreading the coronavirus. And you look and you see people not even 3 feet apart, let alone 6 feet, spreading it. And because you don't get that sort of forceful top-down statement, you got Indy Motor Speedway officials saying that they have no plans on postponing the month of May activities that include the Indy 500. And I get it. This is a lot of money. The Indy 500 is one of the times when we kind of snap to and pay some attention to your sport. But just like March Madness in college basketball, just like the NBA season, post All-Star break when the playoff pushes really get started, the playoffs get started, just like MLB opening day. This is something that is bigger than your particular sport. And because we haven't gotten that forceful statement from leadership, these entities still want to try and go on, and people will still go. That's the other thing. And that's the thing I don't think I think gets lost with the forceful statement. People are still going to go because if you give them an out, some will take it. Oh, it's not that big a deal. The people at the top aren't saying anything, so why should I? Meanwhile, we've talked about MGM Resorts in Vegas. We've talked about Disney World, Disneyland. Of course, we've talked a lot about what's going on in sports with everything being put on temporary hiatus. I mean, Starbucks, people. Starbucks is changing how they're doing things. Come on, this is no longer a game. This is no longer a hoax or a conspiracy theory. This is something more than just the flu. It is, and for the leadership at the top to not come out and give us that definitive statement, that hard statement, and some hard guidelines as to how we are allowed to progress. You allow Indy 500. You would allow an owner like Jimmy Dolan, who just wants the money to keep things rolling. And God forbid, had the other owners not been like, no, Jimmy, we're not, no, James, we're not going to do that. That the NBA, James Dolan would run the risk of infecting millions of people because the way that the coronavirus spreads, everybody going to Madison Square Garden goes out into their community and then they continue to spread the virus. And what we really need to do now, Peter, is try and change the trajectory of this and try and, flatten out the curve a little bit. Everybody keeps saying flatten out the curve, but that is really important. And so please do stay home unless you absolutely have to and observe the 6 feet rule, and, it's going to be hard. I know that. We have NFL to talk about, but NFL offseason, to talk about. But even that's going to look different. NFL offseason, the big thing about the NFL offseason is the NFL draft. That's the biggest thing to me. And the draft is supposed to take place where? In Vegas. And right now, MGM Resorts is shutting everything down. The Oakland Raiders are supposed to be the Vegas Raiders come this time next season, when the season starts in August, excuse me. And their stadium's not going to be ready. This is real, people. Treat it as such.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. Like, we have to. There's a reason why I keep talking about having a combined and a holistic approach to this thing, because, like, I am extremely sympathetic to everyone who is out there, and all of our partners, small business owners, everyone out there who's listening, that makes money based on people coming to their business. I mean, all of our friends with restaurants and bars, and I know lots of people in that they own them, or they are managing them. That's their livelihood. I mean, they've plunked their life savings in many cases into their place of business. And so to tell people to say, hey, don't come out there, that's devastating to them. That's going to be devastating to a lot of these places in the short term. That's why we advised last week, and I'll continue to say it. Gift cards are so great. If you were thinking about going to one of these places, whichever it may have been, instead of going, go online and order a gift card, or go by there, practice your social distancing, but go by there and get a gift card in person. Say, look, I was going to come out tonight. I was going to go hang out for St. Patrick's Day, but instead I'm going to give you, this is what I would have spent $50. Here's $50. We all have to kind of tighten up as best we can, but that doesn't mean we can't support our communities. If you are a part of a business that constantly gets together and has lunch meetings every Monday, every Tuesday, and you got a group that gets together and you have it catered, support the group that you use for catering, even if you guys aren't having the meeting. It will go such a long way when this whole thing is over and done with. If we can maintain togetherness, if we can help each other through all of this, work together. It has to be a together thing. We are not against each other. We are with each other. We can help each other through all of this. But think about supporting the people that you can support and the businesses that you normally would support. There are other ways to do it. And that's why I'm hopeful that, local governments, that, federal, state, national government, that we can all come together and find a way to make sure that folks can be compensated, can be supported in this time, so that everyone can do the right thing for not only themselves, but for each other, and stay the hell away from each other for a little while.
Yeah, and if you don't do it now, you just push. It's going to have to happen. Unfortunately, that's the thing. Just look around the world and how it's been handled everywhere, from China to Italy to Spain to France now. When it gets to a certain point where you have to stay away from one another, and we are nearing that point, unfortunately. And by everybody trying to show a bit of toughness, I guess, a bit of defiance, a lack of faith in the science, you're pushing this back some. So you're already without NBA. You're already, from a sports standpoint, you're already without NHL. You're already without the MLB. If you don't take the steps necessary, it's very real. You could be without a football, or football is pushed back a couple of weeks or a couple of months until this thing gets a grip. We really don't know what all this particular disease entails. And if you aren't doing what you need to do and the sacrifices that you need to make by just staying away from everybody, if you're not taking those precautions, we not only run the risk of it very likely, like really hitting our medical system hard and crippling it also, we run the risk of changing the way we live life for a much, much longer term than 2 weeks.
I mean, it's, that's where we are, man. That's where we are right now. So, it is interesting, and I've seen folks, talk about it, but you can have a legitimate effect, a positive effect on the world by sitting on your fat ass and watching, as much binging on Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix, whatever, as you possibly can. That is actually a net positive for society right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. You can do that. You want to go, you want to play Switch. You want to get you want to collect all the Pokemon as I've done, then you can do that. That's a great thing for you to do. You want to beat that game that you've been having on the shelf for a while. Go do it. You want to finish up that jigsaw puzzle that's been sitting there for a while. Finish it. You want to work on finishing those books that you've been meaning to read. You want to learn a different language. There's all these different things you can do by not going out. And you can make, and that really truly will make an actual difference, a positive difference. You can be an inspiration by being a lazy, normally sedentary, but that's actually good in this case. It's crazy. Now, I mean, in your house, you should probably do a little exercise or something, maybe hit a few jumping jacks or, push-ups or, things like that. That if you can do that's probably better. But I'm not telling you to do that. That's okay. As far as I'm concerned, just sit and eat cereal and watch, Animaniacs. That's fine. That works too. You're also a hero by doing that. I've got old episodes of. I'll start a Twitter thread. Maybe I'll start a Twitter thread of some stuff I like to watch and stuff that makes me happy.
Not to cut you off, Peter. You know what you should do a thread of though? Some of those wrestling clips that you have.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Let's get that going. That'll keep me in.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna find some of these old. I'll start that today. As a matter of fact. So, but that's what I mean. Just stay away from people for a little while. That doesn't mean don't be connected. That's why I was talking earlier about us. I think it's fun for us to be able to connect during this time. It's fun for us to be able to connect with all of you guys out there listening. That's awesome because we're going to need those kinds of connections. Connect with your loved ones. Particularly your family members who are elderly or who are, with a compromised immune system or who have, underlying health issues, whatever it may be. Make sure you connect with them. Talk to them. Just don't talk to them in person. Talk to them over the phone, video chats, FaceTimes. All that stuff is great. Do all that. Just make sure you hunker down where you are for a little while, and we'll work this thing out. It's not something that you can. Quote unquote, be a tough guy and be a hero, and I'm tougher than the virus. It doesn't work like that. You may go out and you may do your thing, and you may never once feel any symptom of anything. You may feel great, but you may have already unwittingly passed it along to 5, 10, 15 people who then passed along in their community. And next thing you know, you've got old people who have died as a result of that. And that's not an exaggeration. We talked about the patient 31 in South Korea who infected 1,000 people just by going out and going to a buffet. And that can happen. These conferences where people have gotten together, there was one of the original ones in Massachusetts where this thing kind of, got off the ground, 172 people at the conference. And because one person was infected, now 104 people that have been at the conference were infected. Okay. Take it seriously. If not for yourself. Now, how many of those 104 are in really bad shape? I don't know. Probably statistically, I'd say 20 or 30 of them are walking around and probably have no idea and feel great. But they are moving it along. They are passing it along to others who are in much worse shape. So don't try to be a tough guy. I don't think you can out-tough this thing. Don't pretend like it doesn't happen. It does happen. It is happening. It's going to continue to happen. Be a hero and sit your fat behind down and watch wrestling. That's what you can do, and that's the greatest thing that you can do right now.
Yes, it is. A lot of other generations have been asked to make sacrifices that are far larger than just staying at home and binge watching your favorite show or watching some sports highlights. I think we can do that. We've got some calls we're going to get to when we get back, and we're going to talk some more. We hadn't talked about the NFL CBA yet, so we're going to touch on that some and get you set for middays, which is coming up at the 10 o'clock hour as well. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 Middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, I'm Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. 5-Ash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5-Ash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hey everybody, it's here. Truck Month at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch is where all the Silverados are. And you won't believe all the zero finance deals. 0 for 72 months plus $500 cash with your new 2020 Silverado Crew Cab. Or get $6,000 in cash for you. And hurry in and you can get the new 2019 Silverado Double Cab with $6,500 cash back for you. Or finance it with GM at 0 for 72 and still get $3,000 in cash. You're not going to do any better than this. Every Silverado truck you're looking for is at All-Star Chevrolet right now. So if you've been waiting for Truck Month, head to Olive Branch this week. Not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. And everybody at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch has one job: to make sure you get a better deal, have more fun, and in record time. And don't forget to ask them about all the deals on new Blazers and Suburbans. So find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch today, or check out allstarautogroup.com.
You don't have to wait for amazing deals on a new floor. Get spring Black Friday deals right now at Lumber Liquidators Flooring. This week, save up to 35% on gorgeous hardwood and waterproof vinyl floors. Plus, we can arrange for installation by professional independent contractors. And with special financing, you can get started today. These are the floors homes are built on. Lumber Liquidators Flooring.
Listen up, Rebel fans. You can now listen to Rebel Yell Hotline on 87.7 FM or on the web each and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. If you can't listen to 87.7 FM, Sports 56 has made it possible to listen online each and every week. All you have to do is go to sports56whbq.com and click on the Rebel Yell Hotline banner to listen. That's Rebel Yell Hotline each and every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on 87.7 FM or on the web at sports56whbq.com.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back into Sports 56 Mornings. CJ and Peter here. Become Possible, Rufus, Ron, them going on in the background. Titans, they are busy, boys. They have placed a franchise tag on Derrick Henry. That just broke on the Twitter. Peter, what do you think about the Titans going ahead and deciding to franchise Henry instead of giving him a new contract?
Well, we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like that was the next domino that was going to fall naturally with them giving the contract to Ryan Tannehill. They could only use the franchise tag on one. They had, I would imagine, would have preferred to use it on both, honestly. But they've got until July 15th, I think, to actually negotiate a deal with him. Otherwise, then he would play, under the franchise rules. And I think it clearly makes sense for them, because it's more economical to use it on the running back than it is to use it on the quarterback. The average of the top 5 salaries is going to be cheaper from a running back perspective than it is from quarterback perspective. So I think that's a wise decision for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if they work something out in the meantime, but they were not going to let him get away, nor should they.
We got a caller on the First Bank phone lines, 360-8255. You can hop in here as well. Mike, what's going on, man?
Well, they said on Channel 24 that there was 100 cases or more under observation in Shelby County. They don't have any test kits, unlike our fearless leader says are out there. Yeah, hold on a minute. Oh, okay. Also, I think Vegas is dependent on 95% of their money coming in from the casinos. All right,
oh, yeah. Mike, you might need to give up that phone, brother. Yes. I don't know who was going on in the background. He needed to come up out of that phone, though, boy.
Tough times, man. You got the phone. We're sharing this phone. We got Mike. We've been waiting. We got to go. We got to get something going here. I mean, again, we talked about this before. Like, don't let the numbers of confirmed cases or whatever. We don't have a lot of tests. So, there's many people who are self-quarantined. There's many people who won't ever report anything because they don't really have major symptoms. Maybe it's really mild. That certainly happens too. So yeah, don't let that number of cases be the indicator of, like, and it's one of my other problems I have with our coverage is, like, people are saying certain areas of the country, well, they're not that hard hit. We don't have that many cases. How do you know? You don't know. You haven't tested. You're just making it up as you go along. The places that have the most cases are the ones that have been tested the most.
Yeah, and that's how testing usually works. It looks like Mike has the phone back. Mike, what's going on?
Well, I got my wife off my tail a little bit. The other thing I was going to say is, this thing is, we could have got some of these testing kits from the World Health Organization, but we turned them down. Did you know that?
Not good. Yeah, not good.
Yeah. The other thing is, I didn't know if you guys knew the market opened up and closed in about 5 minutes with down 2,100 points.
Yeah, we've run out of timeouts. I think at this point we're out of we've used our 3. We used 2 last week. We used this one this morning. It's already down, towards the 20,000 mark. I mean, I know with the work that the Fed did, basically lower.
Go back to Vegas. You think they're going to? I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to rebound. I knew the state and the city were putting a lot of money into that stadium.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. We appreciate the phone call, man. We use all of the timeouts that we have on the stock market. I guess I don't know. Is it an unlimited amount of timeouts? I don't know, but we're doing that. The stadium in Vegas. Mike is right. The city put a lot of money into trying to get the Raiders to Vegas, and now it's looking like the stadium's not going to be done. What's going to be the economic windfall of that? All of these things are tough. And it's hard to see and hard to live through. And against everybody's better judgment, I know that when things get tough, we got to get going. We got to get doing stuff. But the best thing that you can do is just stay in your house and limit your contact with everybody in your community.
Well, and by the way, this just in from old Shefty. Oh. The Cowboys have issued the exclusive franchise tag to Dak. Which means that no other team can sign him, and he is guaranteed to get at least the average value of the top 5 salaries at his position, or 120% of his previous salary, whichever is greater, the top 5 is going to be greater. Exclusive franchise players cannot negotiate with other teams. So this ensures that Dak will be back for at least 2020 at the value that we're talking, at least as of last year, $25 million. But that's going to probably go up based on these new deals and all that. So I'm guessing you're going to get closer to $30 million at least for Dak.
Hey, look at Dak getting securing the bag, as Zach always likes to say, getting paid. And I mean, you had to do something with if you were the Cowboys, and we saw the Washington do this a lot with Kirk Cousins, just to see he was good. He wasn't great. He wasn't exceptional, but he was a solid piece. He was a average quarterback, and they just kept franchise tagging him, hoping that something more would emerge. And then it was like, no, we don't like this guy. We're gonna have to sign him. We're just gonna let him walk. Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, got a 2-year extension from the Minnesota Vikings earlier today.
That's my team.
Kirk Cousins continues to just.
That is apparently T.O.'s quarterback.
I mean, Kirk Cousins is he is a take it to the bank all-star. I mean,
Yes.
This guy is a bag grabbing all-star. You're not going to beat Kirk Cousins in terms of what he's actually done relative to what he's getting paid. I mean, adding this on top of that fully guaranteed. I mean, he had a fully guaranteed $84 million guy, like 100% guaranteed. First guy ever to do it. A fully guaranteed deal. Well, now you can add 2 more years on top of that. I mean, I'm not a fan of his as a quarterback, but as a businessman, tremendous. I mean, I'm a huge fan.
Got to, man. Gotta use your leverage and use your talents to get the most out of everybody. You just have to. And Kirk Cousins has done just that. And I get it, man. And we talked a lot about this early in the show. I get that.
I was going to say, by the way, just a little bit of other news too. The PGA Championship is expected to be postponed as well, following updated recommendations from the CDC. Based on, we already saw the Masters being postponed. The new PGA Championship in May was supposed to be in San Francisco, but as things develop and you continue with all this, the expectation is that they will also soon announce that they're going to postpone the whole situation. So now the golf calendar, I don't even know what it could possibly look like this year, because you're going to have 2 majors. I'm assuming the U.S. Open as well would be postponed. Masters. I mean, do you just cram them all in at the end of the year? Can you even do that? What about the other tournaments that are already scheduled? Do you cancel them? I don't know. We again, all this is totally uncharted waters.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. On Sunday, I'm used to seeing the commercials for the Masters all over the TV as Selection Sunday begins in earnest, and the brackets get unveiled, but didn't see any of those, and it's going to be tough, I know, for some people to miss out on Masters and other major PGA events, and I'm with you. I don't know what this means. It is important for the sport. I get it, because those are some of your big hitters as far as golf tournaments are concerned. But if you try and cram these things in, if you try and move them to later dates, you're going to bump right up against other events on the tour, and those events are smaller, and they could really use the publicity and the money that comes with getting some of the world's best to travel through there, getting some people who want to see good golf at a high level being played. And that money finds its way into their communities as well. So even if you were to move some of these events, I wonder the impact and the effect it would have on some of the other golf events, not major related.
I don't know. That's the thing is, I mean, is it fair to other tournaments? I mean, like look, for example, at the World Golf Championships event here in Memphis, that's scheduled for the July 4th weekend. But if everything is moved back, and let's say, hypothetically, everything is given the all clear by that point, do we just go on like as normal? I mean, I certainly hope from the folks around here that we do. But then do you push everything else back? Do you just cancel all these other tournaments and make it? I don't know. I think it's a really tricky situation. And I mean, maybe we just have like a 9-hole Masters followed by a 9-hole U.S. Open, followed by maybe just one day we just fly everyone around and knock these things out quick. I don't know. I don't know what you do. And then on top of that, it was already going to be a compressed golf calendar this year anyway because of the Olympics. So everything had been kind of moved up and pushed together. Well, now you can add all of this on top of it. So, again, this is another example. The list is growing very long. Another example of the stuff that we have never dealt with before and have to figure out what to do. Hopefully on the other side of this thing in a couple months, 2 or 3 months, if we're lucky, then we can worry about those problems at that point. But I think you can just assume at this stage, and I said it earlier in the show, I'll continue. I don't say it out of a there's no need to panic or anything like that, but you just have to start preparing. Like, your life is going to be significantly disrupted for the next 2 or 3 months. And this is not meant to be like hey, we're out of school, so let's get all the kids together over at, Aunt JoJo's house and let's have her watch them for a couple days, make a little mini daycare. No, like that, this is supposed to be like, distancing. And as much as that's difficult for everybody, and it stinks for the kids, most of all, because there are a lot of friends they're not going to be able to hang out with, but that's part of it, man. Kids pass this thing along. Thankfully it doesn't seem to affect kids to anywhere close to the degree that it affects adults, but they can still pass it along. So like getting them all together for a play date, you can't do it. Like you just, as much as you'd love, you can't do it. You can't, everybody go over to so-and-so's house for a potluck and no, you can't, you cannot do that. At least not for the next 2 or 3 weeks, until, everyone has been, isolated for a while. And if you're isolated for a while and you're asymptomatic throughout all of that and you seem okay, then maybe we can start talking about, resuming a few of those things. But for now, man, if you're keeping your kids out of school only to send them over to a center, a daycare with a bunch of people with, 20 more people, a bunch of kids running around being nasty, spreading all kinds of grossness, that's counterproductive. That's not doing anything.
And this is where leadership would help out a lot. A lot of people are forced to go into work, don't have enough PTO, don't have any sick leave left, can't take off, can't miss a check, don't want to get fired. And so the kids are out and it is, I really need to be staying at home. I really want to stay at home, but I can't. It is hard for me from a financial standpoint to do that. So I've got to send my kids to a different place. I got to send my kids to a caregiver to until I, get off of work because I have to go to work. And this is where a hard statement would go a long way from the top, saying, listen, there's no reason for anybody to leave their home, stay in. And like you said, we'll figure something out. We'll find a way to compensate you for your absence from work, for missing out on your primary source of income. We'll find a way to make sure that you are getting paid so that you can pay your bills, buy groceries, take care of your family. We want to incentivize staying at home. And one of the big things to incentivize staying at home would be allowing people who need that money and need to go to work, allowing them to say, hey, I don't need that money. I'm going to be taken care of. And we just haven't gotten there yet. I hope that we do real soon, though.
I hope so. I mean, it's, we got to take this thing seriously. And I think people are only now starting to come to grips with it. Man, your life is going to be significantly disrupted. That is where we are. So the quicker you can get with that and the quicker that we can have a government that can understand what that means on a day-to-day basis and get people access to cash and get people access to what they need as quickly as possible. That's the big thing, man. We need to create incentives. We need to create opportunities. We need to create the ability for people to stay home with their kids and not feel like they have to go to work to do that, or not find to put their places to have to put their kids someplace in just some daycare type environment that's probably not the best place for them to be right now. We gotta find a way, man. We just have to. There's just no other way to put it. So It's tough. It's tough out here.
We're going to talk some NFLPA and some things going on with the new CBA on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We'll also get you set for middays, which is coming up at 10. Greg and Eli are going to do their thing at 10 o'clock, so don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Sports 56 in the mornings with Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 to 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive? Take the car for a couple of days if you want. Streamlined buying process. You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Into the unknown.
Are you headed into the unknown with the digital marketing for your business?
Into the unknown.
Maybe you could create the best digital content for your ad campaigns, but it's unknown whether you will find the time. Or maybe measuring the results and analytics is unknown for you. Digital Mid-South can help you with the unknowns of digital marketing. Website development, graphic design, social media marketing, search engine optimization, online video marketing, e-commerce, and more. Check out digitalmidsouth.com to learn how you can help with your online digital advertising campaigns, or call Brian White at 901-375-9324. That's Brian White, 901-375-9324. digitalmidsouth.com. Digital content creation, delivery, and management.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking, no telephone pole to get in your way, a cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Stop waiting and start off-road living in a Can-Am today. The Spring Fever event is now on at Olive Branch Motorsports. Take on every task, trail, and terrain in a Can-Am off-road vehicle that will easily handle anything that comes your way. And for a limited time, get up to $2,500 off on select 2019 models, making it easier than ever to go out and play. Visit Olive Branch Motorsports now at 5656 Goodman Road or online at obmotorcycleatv.com.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Oh, welcome back in. Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. You better sing it. As Scrooge McDuck dives into his money pit. Is that what yours looks like, Zach?
A little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger? Okay. That's what's up.
A lot of people don't know if you dive into money, it's going to hurt a lot.
Especially coins.
Yeah.
That's why
I would just say diamonds?
No. Silent cash, Peter.
So if you jump into silent cash, do you just go to the bottom? It just hit the ground, so you just belly flopping into the ground?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you just quietly dive in. You
just
do backstrokes and breaststrokes and all different types
all
of
the strokes. Okay.
Right.
I like that. Zach out here be
Can
stroking.
I also say that your money's nasty. So everybody watch your money. You don't I mean, what was all those studies we talked about with cash now? Now it's even more obvious. Like, hey, your money is cloth. You can wash it like you would wash clothes. I'm not saying you dump all your money in the laundry machine, but like you want to clean your money, use soap and water. You don't need to put hand sanitizer on it. Use soap and water. You can wash your money, and then you're good to go. But I would say now is not the time to go swimming in a pile of hundreds if that's what you like to do.
Zach, that means don't belly flop.
That means you, Zach. Come on now, don't start pouring it all over your bed and rolling around on it like you like to do. Don't do it right now. Not now.
Just hold off, man.
My money has been through quarantine. It has been I have disinfected every inch of it. We're good to go.
Okay. Speaking of money, NFL passed a new CBA. Players get more of the pod. They did have to concede and give owners that 17th game and that additional playoff team. And the 17-game schedule won't start this year, I don't believe. I think it's going to start maybe next year, probably the year after that. But that extra playoff spot is going to happen this year. Other things going on in that CBA, the marijuana test, the THC test, they've changed the threshold for a positive. The nanogram rise from 35 to 150. And there's no longer going to be a suspension of game penalty for testing positive for the weed, and abbreviated testing window down from, I do believe, 4 months to 2 weeks. Also, there's a couple of extra roster spots on there as well. What do you think, Peter? You think this is a net good for the players?
We've talked about it before. I don't think so. No, I don't think that I think the as we've seen in the past, a lot of owners like the plan to specifically target the lower paid players, of whom there are more, was a smart one, and to try to give them a few little carrots. With regard to extra roster spots, extra practice squad spots, a little increase on the minimums, all that stuff matters to them. So they used that as the grease to kind of push through what is a much worse deal, as far as I'm concerned, for the players overall, based on what they're giving up. In that 17th game, that extra little bit, how much is that really going to be worth to them? How many more billions of dollars could that potentially be worth to the owners? Quite a bit. How much is that going to be worth for your players to deal with their own health and safety? Not nearly that much. So I think it's a bad deal for them. And I think it'd also be interesting to see, has the NFL missed its trick here, though, in terms of its TV deal? Trying to renegotiate their TV deal. the economic climate that we face now is completely different than the one a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever. The amount of money that the NFL is making from TV is astronomical. And I mean, it'll probably, still be astronomical, but will it be will there be as much? I mean, we're about to hit a pretty nasty turn down here economically. So, long term, I don't know how this revenue is going to look, but I think if I were the players, I would not have voted yes for this thing.
Yeah, I don't think I would have either. It is great that the other players, not necessarily the big name stars or whomever, it's great that they are getting taken care of. They're getting a bit of an increase, and there's that additional roster spot. But it's got to be good for everybody. The owners had a real good strategy targeting, like you said, Peter, the lower tier NFL players. And this thing only passed. It passed with just over 60. It was like a 60-vote split, a 61, 62-vote split. So this thing was real close to not passing. And I don't think I would have voted for it or I would have passed it either. But we got 10 years of labor peace, and let's hope that we got an NFL to watch come August. We've got to go, Peter. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Greg and Eli coming up next. Zach, what's going on middays?
Coming up on midday, Stubby Clapp will join the program.
Yeah.
Former manager of the Memphis Redbirds.
Beat champs a couple years ago.
So he will join the program, and they will also give their good, bad, and ugly, if there is any good or bad or any ugly. So
all right.
we'll get that.
All right, Peter, man, I'll talk to you when you get back from vacation.
Yeah, Thursday we'll be back, and who knows what it'll look like then.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, I'm